Equestrian Civil War side story. Hawk investigates Hasbro. And this summary's not really relevant because I changed the storyline. No, the prologue's not relevant. Chapter 1. The Scars of War. Try to get out more, Silverstream. You've been cooped up in your room for days, Hawk said, noticing for the 400th time the pink figure on the bed, looking out the window glumly. Silverstream turned to look at him. I'm sorry. I know I haven't been out lately, but I don't know. I'm just scared as hell. Slavery was a horrible time for me. I understand, replied Hawk, getting on the bed with her. The Empire was cruel to you, but it's over now. You should start embracing your new freedom. I don't have any freedom, Mr. Hawk. Silverstream shook her head. I never will. It doesn't exist. Hawk was surprised at that statement. Of course it exists. What are you talking about? Think about it, Silverstream told him. No one is really free. There's always something holding them back. I learned that there's no such thing as true freedom. I know the Republic was founded on democratic ideals, but if you think about it, nothing really has changed. Still regulations and stuff holding things back. I know that's needed, so I'm not complaining about that. I'm just saying no one really has the freedom to do what they want. Freedom doesn't exist. Creatures are always slaves to something. Not really well as you want me to, because I know the truth. I'm sorry, but that's the truth. Hawk realized that Silverstream had a point. Ponies were always slaves to something. It made him question the Enlightenment ideals that Creatures went on and on about during the Provisional Republic's founding. Look, Silver, maybe creatures will never truly be free, but don't you think life under the democratic system is better? Hawk asked. He could see tears forming in Silverstream's eyes as she said, No, I don't, but it doesn't really matter what I think. Hawk cursed himself for even bringing up the subject. Silverstream pointed at the window towards the outside. When I was way younger, I always imagined a place where everyone was free. It was a paradise. It's really the place of my imagination. As I got older, I realized that such a place doesn't exist at all. It was fun to dream, but as I saw and experienced the hardships in the Empire, it made me realize the shocking truth. Sometimes I wish I could have had a normal life, grow up with my family, and totally naive about the world, but that will never happen, will it? Hawk put his hoof around Silver, picking the young heavy girl's flinch. I understand. The thing is, I'm trying to help you live a normal life. You had tons of friends at Luna's school. I don't know why you dropped out. But Silver has been asking about you and how you're doing. She really cares about you. Silverstream nodded. I know, but for all her knowledge about things, she's never experienced what I've experienced. I wouldn't ask her to experience it either. I'm glad she's still keeping in touch. Hawk smiled. I've been trying to arrange a visit. She can come to our house, and you and her can hang out. Would you like that? Silverstream still can comprehend the concept of someone asking what she thought. So she said, Would you like that? Hawk nodded. I would. Then I'll go along with it, Silverstream replied. You're the one in charge, not me. I just follow orders. Hawk took out his phone. Okay, then. I'll arrange one right away. I finally figured out how this texting thing works. Ponies seem to invent weird technology these days. Silverstream smiled. It was a small smile, but at least it was the first genuine smile she gave all day. Chapter 2. Ocellus' Visit. After a talk with Silverstream and the arranging of the visit, Hawk made sure to prepare for the visit. Silverstream had offered to do the chores for him, as that was what she was used to doing, and Hawk had insisted she needed a break from the hard labor after experiencing it for several years. Silver would be turning 15 in a month, and Hawk still needed to arrange for the whole school to attend the birthday party he was planning for his adopted daughter. Principal Moonbeam was on board with an honorary field trip to the cottage, but a lot of teachers disagreed, emphasizing hard work. So the arrangement would be hard to make, all in all. At least he had a plan. Basically, the plan was that once Silver saw the birthday party, her love for life would be reignited. However, the more he thought about it, the more it seemed unlikely that Silverstream would ever truly be happy again. He thought about her words, about the non-existence of freedom, and he vowed to talk to Princess Luna about the whole enlightenment thing. Just then, there was a knock on the door. He opened it, expecting a visit from Silver's psychiatrist, but instead it was Ocellus, still dressed in school uniform, at the door with some gifts in a bag. Ocellus, Hawk greeted. So great to see you. No one was escorting you? Ocella shook her head. My parents don't generally mind me going alone. I'm 15 now. I'm independent, they say. So they've taken advantage of the situation and came here alone. How's Silverstream? Hawk sighed, running a concerned look from the Science Changeling student. Oh, still cooped up in her room. Ocella backed up a step. That's sad. Maybe this is a bad time for me to come if she's still like this. I'll just leave now. No. Hawk said, stay. I'm sure I can get her down. Come inside. Ocella nodded, coming inside and closing the door behind her. Very clean in here. Mom would approve if she was here. You didn't have to prepare that much for me. I wouldn't want you to prepare like I'm Queen Celestia or something. Thank you, though. Hawk nodded and called, Silverstream, Ocellus is here. There was a sound of claw steps, and Silverstream came down the stairs. Ocellus immediately noticed a downtrodden look on her friend's face and came over. I'm sorry, Silver, about your nightmares. Mr. Hawk's been keeping me updated, and it seems bad. Silver sighed. The psychiatrist is a very nice pony for sure, but I don't think his medication is helping me. Mr. Hawk is very concerned, I know, but I can't go back to who I used to be when I was 7 years old. Not after what I experienced. Anyway, I'm glad that you're here. Sorry I dropped out. Ocellus nodded. It's alright. Smolder misses teasing you, and Yona misses sharing her tribe's history with you. But it's okay. If you don't come back, you'll get over it. Given time. Maybe. Hawk looked from Silver to Ocellus, then vice versa, and said, I'm gonna make lunch for you two. Ocellus shook her head. It's okay, sir. You've done enough already. Hawk was once again with Ocellus' attention to politeness. He felt honored that both Silverstream and Ocellus shared a precision of manners. I insist, Hawk said and went to the kitchen. Silverstream gave Ocellus a cautionary look. I wouldn't recommend disagreeing with him. It's better to follow orders. I know, Ocellus said. My little brother back home thinks differently. He thinks that he's always right. Weird, huh? It's scary, Silverstream admitted. He's never been beaten or whipped or for that? Ocellus shook her head. No, thank goodness. I would certainly intervene if that happened and call the police. You're brave, Silverstream replied, smiling yet. Something I wish I had. Ocellus smiled back. I'll bet I can teach you how to be brave. Hawk called from the kitchen. Lunchtime! The two creatures came into the kitchen and sat at the table, where 3 plates of apple pie were on the table. As they ate, Ocellus talked excitedly about her recent lessons learned in history class. In school, while Silverstream remained silent. Probably slave custom, Hawk thought. He thought about all the stories he heard of slavery in the Solar Empire, and concluded that was the case. You haven't eaten anything, Hawk noticed. Ocellus noticed that as well. Come on, Silverstream, eat something. For me? Silverstream took one bite of the pie and asked to be excused. Hawk allowed her to go, watching the sullen hippogriff fly upstairs. She was a lot more social when we were all together, Ocellus said. Sure, she was scared at first, but she really warmed up. I wonder what happened. It's called PTSD, Ocellus, Hawk explained. Post-traumatic stress disorder. She spent 7 years as a slave. I imagine that'll be hard to get over. You wouldn't know, though. I had an abusive uncle, Ocellus replied. He would yell at me non-stop, hit me, everything. When the torture began, I would cry and beg for him to stop. As I grew older, I learned to tough it out. One day, King Thorax asserted that he got serious help for child abuse. He did, and things got better. Well, more or less. He died a week ago. I had already forgiven him by then. I wonder if he ever knew I forgave him. I'm sure he knew, Hawk said. I once knew your uncle. Did you know that the doctor diagnosed him with OCPD? Ocellus tried the words out. OCPD. Obsessive compulsive personality disorder? I think I've heard of that. You're a smart girl, Hawk complimented her. The little changeling blushed at the compliment. Is that why my uncle hates me? Ocellus asked. Because of a need for orderliness? Not only that, Hawk explained further. He was also diagnosed with schizophrenia, compounded with grandiose delusions. I'm no doctor, but I don't think that means he was in his right mind, he treated you horribly. Your uncle told me about how he was so sorry about how he treated you. He could not control himself. Ocellus absorbed all this information and now she viewed her uncle differently.
She hadn't taken into account a possible mental illness that her uncle might have had. Is it okay if I go talk to her? I could comfort her or something. Only if that's okay with you. It is, Hawk replied, but be careful doing it, okay? If she begins to cry or anything, tell me immediately. The psychiatrist said that deep depressions like this could result in attempted suicide. Or if she ends up lashing out at you, that isn't a good sign either. Go downstairs and warn me if she does either of those or both. Gonzalez nodded. Okay, Silverstream isn't usually the one to lash out, though. I wouldn't be too sure, Hawk told her. All that built-up sadness, fear, anger, etc. could manifest itself in a negative way. If you ever plan on taking medical school, you'll learn more about this stuff. It's treatable, according to the doctor, but I don't like the suggested medication. In my right mind, in my mind, it might make things worse. Gonzalez was shaking now a bit. She feared for her close friend. If what Hawk said was true, then the whole PTS thing was a serious issue. She went upstairs towards Silverstein's room and opened it. The hippogriff filly was on her bed, looking out at the window at the sun shining outside as the Pegasi managed the weather, clearing the clouds. Among the Pegasi was General Rainbow Dash of the 2nd Weather Pony Division, zooming by, clearing all the clouds like it was nothing, while the other Pegasi, doing the same job, watched her in awe and amazement. Hi, Silverstream, Gonzalez said. He was trembling as she walked into the room. Are you feeling alright? Silverstream didn't answer. Silverstream, Gonzalez tried again. This time, Silver turned her head around, staring at Gonzalez blankly. I knew Mr. Hawk would send you up here. Gonzalez felt uneasy and sat on the bed with her friend. It's a beautiful day outside. Do you want to play outside? No, was Silverstream's response. Gonzalez tried a new tactic. If you don't come out, I'm leaving. Then go. Silverstream told her. No creature's stopping you. Why are you acting like this? Gonzalez asked. We're friends, aren't we? Silverstream stared at her before saying, I told Mr. Hawk that no one was truly free. He's so blinded by the dogma every political faction feeds him that he ignores the reality of things. Life is full of lies and deception. It took me months to realize that, even though I'm no longer a slave to the Empire, a slave to the Republic. So are you, Gonzalez. We're all servants to a higher power. Somehow, up there, she pointed at the ceiling, there's people pulling the strings and influencing us. We are only puppets. I told them we were slaves. We're slaves to that. Gonzalez shook with fear. Silverstream, please. You're scaring me. You should be scared, Gonzalez, Silverstream said, jumping to her claws. Everyone is ignorant, but I know the truth. You think you're free, but we're all slaves to Hasbro. Gonzalez realized with surprise that she was looking at a portrait advertisement for the My Little Pony show, which had just emerged huge and intimidating on a wall. My Little Pony, Season 9, the final season, coming spring 2019. How long has that been there? Gonzalez asked. Hasbro controls us. Silverstream repeated. That's a poster, Gonzalez told her, getting creeped out every second. Great Gatsby reference. We creatures are nothing but puppets, Silverstream said. For all my years of slavery, I've been controlled by Empress Celestia. She whipped me, beat me, but if only she knew that she was a slave as well. We're all slaves. There's no such thing as true freedom, Gonzalez. Get it through your head. There is no Hasbro, Gonzalez shot back. It's a result of your PTSD. You're imagining things. Mr. Hawk wants to help you if you just listen to him. You don't believe me, Silverstream said, flying up, hitting the ceiling in the process. Gonzalez got down from the bed and ran towards the bedroom door. You're crazy. She couldn't open the door fast enough, and Silverstream landed on her, pinning her down. Gonzalez struggled, and Silverstream's grip was like iron. Silverstream's eyes were wild. She was afraid, Gonzalez knew. Silverstream then suddenly turned towards the window. They must know. Gonzalez felt tears come to her eyes. Silverstream, please don't, she said, choking on her words. Silverstream released her and made a beeline for the window. There was a sound of glass shattering. Silverstream flew out the window in a rabid state. Gonzalez stood up, wincing as she felt wounds appear from claw marks on her flesh. She went downstairs quickly after opening the door, only to bump into Hawk. Gonzalez described everything Silverstream told her, and Hawk nodded in understanding. That's what Silverstream meant. Hurry, we need to dispatch all units to track her down. Let's go.
Chapter 3. Searching for Silverstream / The Gods Are Real. Hawk and Gonzalez searched frantically all around Ponyville for Silverstream.
Hawk noticed Ocellus trembling and put his hoof around her in-between flight to calm her down. None of the ponies could find her. Hawk was able to get in contact with Owl and told him to dispatch all squads to find Silverstream. Finally, after several hours, they found her at the entrance to the Everfree Forest, staring at several unconscious guards. Hawk gasped, "Owl! Silverstream, what did you do?" Then Ocellus landed. Silverstream turned around. "I know you will try and stop me, but I realize the truth. We were never free, and we never will be. There will always be some higher power holding us back." "So what do you suppose we do?" Hawk asked her. "Abolish the law?" "You know we can't do that, Silverstream. Without laws, ponies would go wild, and there would be crime all over the place." "No," Silverstream replied. "I know that would be bad. Our republic isn't the real enemy. Hasbro is. The gods of animals. They controlled us for far too long. The only way for us to truly be free is abolish the gods and reform the republic system a little bit. But I know we can't do that." Ocellus looked at Hawk. "Can we?" Hawk considered this. "I will need to bring this up before the Senate and see what they say. In the meantime, Ocellus, take Silverstream home. Silverstream, I want no more of this Hasbro business until I get home. Understood?" Silverstream nodded. Hawk smiled and flew off towards Canterlot. Ocellus looked at Silverstream skeptically. "A coup to overthrow the gods. How exactly do you plan to do that?" "I don't know," Silverstream answered, "but I want to feel like we actually have a choice, not be bound by some higher power. We're all slaves to the gods." "Huh," Ocellus said, smirking. "I guess I better get on my knees and beg for our master's mercy." Silverstream surprisingly found that funny. She laughed a little. "It actually sounds hilarious the way you say it." "There, you see?" Ocellus replied. "Now you're getting it." "Okay, Silver. I'm going along with your ridiculous plan only if it'll make you happy again. I think that this new anti-divine power coup is a silly idea, but if it makes you happy, I'll tag along in this mission if Mr. Hawk lets us go with him." "Good," came a familiar voice. Both friends jumped at the sight of Hawk coming with Princess Luna. Princess Luna and Hawk landed. "The Senate has approved this suicide mission," Luna informed them. "I will accompany you three on this mission, as I seek to know our creators personally." "This should be interesting," Hawk said. "Moonbeam, your principal, has agreed to step out for a provisional third presidential term while we are away. We are quite certain she can handle the responsibility." Silverstream nodded. "I'm sure she can handle it. Hopefully this can answer a lot of my questions." Hawk smiled at the two kids. "Okay, let's go topple the kingdom of Hasbro." Chapter 4. The Portal to the Real World / Adopted. "Alright," said Grand General Starlight Glimmer of the Lunar Night Guard. "I have never really created a portal to the real world per se, but since Twilight is in still current self-imposed exile, I'll give it a whirl." They were in Mage Twilight Sparkle's old castle on the outskirts of Ponyville, and Starlight was going to reactivate the Equestrian Girl's mirror. Starlight began to chant with her horn lit up aqua. "Oh, great powers, hear my call. Help these heroes make the divine ones fall." The mirror swirled with dark energy. "Oh, great powers, hear my call. Help these heroes make the divine ones fall." Starlight continued, her eyes lighting up pure white. It's working," that's all she explained, walking towards the magic mirror. "Oh, great powers, hear my call. Help these heroes make the divine ones fall." Starlight shouted. There was a burst of light, and the magic mirror swirled with blue and green energy. It worked! Princess Luna looked at the sight, shocked. "How did you do that?" Starlight shrugged. "I learned a spell years ago when I read an old spell on freeing yourself from otherworldly influences." Hawk smiled. "It'll come in handy. Alright, friends, let's go stop Hasbro." Together, holding hooves, wings, and or claws, they braced themselves and jumped into the portal.
"Yeah, live with me for a week, man. Everybody enjoy yourself. Yeah, best part of me love me. Won't you play me? Oh yeah, we go now. Yeah, we go now."
Hawk's first impression of planet Earth was, "This isn't Equestria." He awoke in a cage placed in a crowded area with tall creatures looking at him and taking pictures. "Where am I?" Hawk wondered. Then he realized with dread. He was at a zoo. People passed him, looked at him in awe, took pictures, and left. He looked at the cage bars of the huge surroundings, and wondered where Silverstream and Ocellus were. He knew that Princess Luna was too powerful to be taken down by puny mortals, so she must have escaped, right? Unless she was here, being humiliated by these humans, who seemed to take pleasure at his confusion. He had heard legends about the human world, and about Princess Twilight's discoveries there. Her last visit to the human world was about 2016 CE, before the war broke out. She fled into exile. It was now 2024 CE now, and Twilight had now been presumed dead. Just then, he felt himself be lifted into the air, and saw that his cage was being carried by two humans in zoo uniforms. They carried the cage over to a table and set it down. He saw that he was next to Silverstream and Ocellus, both in separate cages, looking down. Hey, Silver. Silverstream turned. Mr. Hawk, we're slaves into the zoo. Oh no, not more of this. Hawk said, thinking Silver was going to go into another monologue about life. No, seriously, look, they're bidding on us. Hawk looked ahead, and sure enough, people were shouting out numbers to a person who was guarding his cage. The woman shouted, 1,000! The man clapped his hands. 1,000! We now have a bid of 1,000! This is stupid, Ocellus muttered in her cage. I'll give you 15,000! Yelled another person. 15,000! Encouraged the animal auctioneer. Do I hear 15,500? The bids went and went until a tall man in a gray mustache and beard said, I'll give you 27,001 for them hippogriff, weird blue thing, and vampire pony. Hey, everyone turned to a stranger. Interesting. The auctioneer wasted no time in saying, and sold for 27,001 to the mysterious stranger with the beard. Silverstream looked fearfully at Hawk as the cage was picked up and handed to the man. Hawk took a deep breath to calm himself. It's alright, he thought. After all, 4 of us have wings. We could just fly out in the middle of the night or something. But that would not be the case. The next thing Hawk knew, he was out of the cage, in the trunk of a strange moving vehicle. Silverstream and Ocellus were also out of their cages, and were sitting on some cargo like he was. It was when the vehicle started driving that Ocellus began to explain Princess Luna's situation. Apparently while he was knocked out, he and his friends were attacked by a trio of police officers. Princess Luna tried to defend them all, but was overpowered and shot multiple times. She wasn't dead, being immortal and all, but she was being shipped off to a research facility lab. We have to rescue her, Hawk told them. These humans are dangerous, and our owner looks suspicious. We can't, Silverstream said, contradicting him for the first time. We don't know what these other creatures are capable of. They shot Princess Luna with devices they call guns. They sell slaves, and they're mean. While you were knocked out, I heard some people talking about putting you down. I was scared, but I couldn't tell you because you were knocked out and we were separated anyway. This was a terrible idea, Silverstream, Ocellus added. You should have kept your anti-divine control ideas to yourself. 4 hours later, the vehicle, called a car, parked in front of a tall mansion, and the trunk opened. Come on down, said their owner. This your new home now. Hawk got down, and so did the others. We have no interest in being your pets, Hawk stated. We're on a mission to topple a marketing company. Oh, interesting, replied the man. Well, my brother works for that company you speak of, so good luck. The name's Kenny. Welcome to your new home. Oh, please tell me this new life doesn't involve slave labor, Ocellus spoke up. My friend has bad experience with that. Hawk could have sworn he heard Kenny chuckle slightly as they walked towards the door. Kenny rang the doorbell, and another man opened it. Lee! Hey, Kenny greeted. Kenny, how's it going? Hey, it's doing fine. Brought these creatures home for Clem's birthday. Wouldn't want to miss out on this for the world. Lee smiled, but it soon changed to confusion. Creatures? What the? He noticed Hawk and the others. What in the world? They look like something straight out of the MLP show. This is strange indeed. Come on in. Everyone went inside, and Kenny closed the door. Hey kids, Lee called. Uncle Kenny's here. There was the sound of footsteps, and 2 kids came down from the stairs. One was a girl about 11 years old, probably Clementine, and the other was a smaller boy named AJ. Hey Uncle Kenny, Clementine greeted him. AJ and I were watching the newest episode. I don't know what we'll do when the show ends. Kenny laughed. Funny you should say that. Got these creatures that look like some straight out of an episode. The Hippogriff's name is Silverstream. The weird thing is Ocellus. Hawk noticed Ocellus' discomfort at being called Weird Thing 2 times today. AJ gasped. From the show? Clem, does this mean? No, said Clem hurriedly. AJ, you and I both know the land of Equestria isn't real. Then how do you explain our existence? Ocellus suddenly cut in, coming in front of Hawk and the 2 kids. Holy cow! Clementine exclaimed in shock. How is this possible? Hawk came forward. I am President Hawk of the United Lunar Republic of Equestria. We have come here to dethrone the ones who control us. Oh my, Ocellus said. I see where this is going. Do you think this was a bad idea? Silverstream asked her friend. Hasbro? He inquired. Well, I don't see what's wrong with them. The problem is, Hawk replied, we honestly feel trapped. Or at least Silverstream does. For some reason, she knows the true nature of our existence. Could you explain that to us? Lee looked at Kenny for support, and the latter shrugged. Don't you go looking at me, Lee. You know him better than I do. Lee sighed. You 3 can talk this over with me tonight after dinner once I finish the script for Season 9, Episode 15. Ocellus, Silverstream, your input will be needed. Silverstream looked skeptical. Why would we help you? Awkward, commented AJ. Lee turned to the 2 kids. Clementine, you have my permission to go to that movie tonight. AJ, you're going to a late night makeup of horse riding session. In the meantime, Kenny, bro, you can get yourself acquainted with the surroundings again. I have a few words to say with these new arrivals. Clementine thanked Lee and went upstairs to pack. AJ was shouting, yeah, more time with good old magic. I trust that this will be a very profitable arrangement, Lee said to Hawk, in which the latter replied, well, how can we refuse your hospitality, Lord Lee? Lee obviously didn't get the sarcasm, as he just nodded and went to the kitchen to make dinner. Chapter 5. We're at war! That evening, Lee made dinner for Hawk, Silverstream, and Ocellus, while Kenny took AJ to horse riding therapy. During dinner, Hawk was the first to break the 15-minute silence. I hope our arrival doesn't stir any more trouble for this world than it already has. Ever since Princess Luna got captured, I've been on edge. Why? Lee asked. After all, Princess Celestia is capable of running things by herself, according to our design. Unless it works differently in the real Equestria where you guys come from. We're the same cartoons you created. Ocellus replied rather coldly. It's not like we're your puppets or anything. Ocellus, Hawk admonished. She has the right to be confused, he said. I imagine this is very hard to wrap her head around, meeting her creators for the first time. You and Silverstream both have the same voices as the actresses that play you two. Silverstream spoke up. I'm aware of our true existence. I suppose that comes from 8 years of slavery. Lee let go of his spoon in surprise. Slavery? There's no slavery in Equestria. Not anymore, Hawk explained, but there was. In fact, things proceeded quite differently after the Changeling Revolution took place back in the United Equestrian era. For starters, there was the Solar Empire that arose after the whole Pillars thing. Stars rolled the bearded, and Flash Magnus aided in the formation of the Empire, which encompassed all of Equestria and the lands beyond. For a while, things were peaceful, with Luna going along with her sister, until Celestia began passing horrible laws that Luna didn't agree with. This resulted in the founding of the new Lunar Republic, and the birth of the new rebellion. Celestia was not happy, and declared war on the fledgling Republic. The war lasted about 9 years, until Silverstream was rescued from slavery by us. I took care of her, and eventually she and her friends were able to end the war. I remember during the trial, Celestia made a public apology for everything she did, mainly to Silverstream, but the Senate wasn't so lenient and forgiving as my dear Silver was. Celestia was exiled, and the remains of the NLR became the United Lunar Republic of Equestria, bent on spreading freedom and democracy to the rest of the world. And you know the rest. Lee nodded in understanding. Hawk was glad he understood the situation. Then Lee said, It is very strange, but you have to understand that we are not your enemy. We gave you life. We are the reason why your republic exists today. If you destroy Hasbro, you destroy your world. But if you are not our enemy, then who is? Silverstream inquired. Lee sighed again. You 3 are not going to like this, but oh, how should I put this? We're at war! We're at war? Ocellus squeaked in horror. Yes. He replied, war. Our company Hasbro is a member of the Allied Powers, consisting of us, Disney, Paramount, Nickelodeon, DreamWorks, and Illumination. Our enemies are the Internet Powers, consisting of all the MLP critics and haters you can imagine. Right now, we are losing. We've been trying to gain support by promising to mature with our audience, but it isn't working. I have a feeling that this new episode will draw away our remaining supporters for good. That's horrible. What are you gonna do? I don't know, said Lee. Right now, most of our staff have left us out of fear of themselves being target to our enemies. We are scrambling to hire new people. I try and pretend everything is fine in front of Kenny and the kids, because I don't want them being involved in this war. Can you expect us to help you? Hawk asked, knowing Lee might take that the wrong way. Why wouldn't we help them, Mr. Hawk? Lascelles asked him. First off, Hawk said, our mission was to destroy them. And second, I don't have any army with me. So even if we did join this war of the Earth, we wouldn't be much help. Winning a war is all about strategy, determination, superior weaponry, and numbers. We have none of that with us now. It's not exactly a war in a traditional sense, though. Hawk was confused. But you said it was a war. It is, answered Lee, now realizing his steak was getting cold. But not a war with military battles and stuff. It's a war for support, like petitions and stuff. A war for subscribers to our official channels, you name it. The first battle was the Battle of Merchandise, where Hasbro squared off against the Internet Powers in a competition to make the best merchandise. We even brought the mystery bags back, but unfortunately, people seemed more inclined to buy anti-Disney t-shirts than pony bags. Many other misfortunes happened after that, such as the Battle of the Songs, where Sia squared off against a critic, forgot his name in a musical battle. Sia lost, surprisingly. There was the Battle of the Hype, where Lauren Jackson and Evan Elton tried to get people excited about new characters, YouTube. Eventually, after many other terrible occurrences, we backed out, and there has been a major competition since. It'll only be a matter of time before the Allies as a whole surrender. We're hoping that you can help inspire morale and help us win. Hawk was honestly shocked by this. He tried to maintain his cool. So what? Haters are gonna hate. That doesn't mean others who support the show aren't going to start hating as well. You have fans and you have non-fans. That's the problem, said Lee. At first, this whole war thing seemed like an idea to be scoffed at. But then the critics became more vocal, sending death threats to people who supported us. Disney and the other companies at first thought nothing of it, until Kathleen Kennedy was assassinated by a local hater group. Shortly afterwards, Disney did something no company of anything had ever done before. They declared war. Pixar, Marvel, Fox Entertainment, Lucasfilm, etc. were all properties of Disney, so when Disney declared war, they did too. It didn't take long for every company, even non-Disney companies, to stick by Disney's side, prepare for a long competition to the end against the hater group, which had already begun to gather support, and together, they formed the Internet Powers. We became the Allied Powers, and the war had begun. What started out as simple criticism we could tolerate became more violent every day, even becoming murderous. We had to do something. Hawk nodded in understanding. I see. Well, critics can be more vocal than supporters at the worst of times. I think we can help in this war, but I need my daughter's approval first, as she started this whole adventure of ours. He turned to Silverstream. Helping them means they're going to be around forever. Silverstream nodded back to Hawk's surprise. You heard, Mr. Lee. If we destroy Hasbro, we destroy our world. I don't think the anti-divine coup is worth it, if it comes at the cost of not only our world, but the enjoyment of thousands of people. She turned towards Lee. Mr. Lee, we're going to help. Lee's face brightened. You will? Great! Thank you so much. I will talk to the other allies and tell them this. It's not so fast, Hawk got in. He hated to break the lighthearted mood, but with good diplomatic discussions, there were always conditions. There was no such thing as unconditional loyalty or unconditional capitulation, you name it, in diplomatics. His 8 years as general and 4 years as president had taught him that. He continued, in return for our assistance, you will have to do something for us. Actually, 4 things. First, you will find a way for us to exist independently from you without us disappearing when you inevitably pull the plug on the show. Second, as you've created Princess Twilight, Sparkle, I'm hoping you have a way of pinpointing her location. During the war, Ponyville fell to our republic, and Twilight, fiercely loyal to Celestia, fled into self-imposed exile. I doubt she even knows that the war has ended. She's either in this world or another one, because our world of Equus has been searched everywhere, and Twilight is nowhere to be found. Third, there must never be a war like this again. Everyone is entitled to their own opinions. If it gets too violent, let the police handle it. War is never the answer to something like this. Trust me, I know. And finally, fourth, he hesitated and said, You will no longer keep this stuff a secret from your family. Your daughter Clementine seems mature enough to handle the news of a war. AJ, I don't know, but Kenny seems like the action type if he's not a gambler. Lee looked confused. Why would you think I'm a gambler? He bid $27,001 to buy us, as I was pointing out. Does he even have that amount of money, sir? He laughed a little. Not anymore, I bet. $27,001, huh? I take it other people couldn't come up with anything else? Silverstein shifted in her seat uncomfortably. Ozellus made a gesture as if to stand up, and Hawk quietly changed the subject. So, do we have a deal? Lee nodded. The Allies stick together. You help us, we'll help you. I agreed to this. As I said, I will talk to the other Allied companies. We can win this. Hawk didn't yet know what he was up against, but he was sure he was gonna find out. Chapter 6. The Allies re-enter the war. Hawk knew that their commitment was sealed when the entirety of Hasbro met with the other Allied powers, and agreed that the four heroes would join the war effort. The next day, Hawk woke up to find Silverstream and Ozellus dressed for the competition. He couldn't get over how stylish the two of them looked, with their sports uniforms and tennis shoes on, and their hooves and claws. Silverstream looked a little nervous, while Ozellus looked determined to win the war for the Allies. Hawk guessed Silver felt the same thing, but was more nervous than Ozellus. I never thought these shoes would actually fit me, Ozellus said. What about you, Mr. Hawk? You getting sports attire? Hawk shook his head. The Night Guard armor I already have should do it. I've had this battle uniform on me for 10 whole years. No way am I getting rid of it, even just for competition. What about you, Silverstream? Are you ready to do this? I'm nervous, to be honest, Silverstream told him. This is a huge turning point in our mission, and I don't think I'm ready for this. Hawk understood that feeling. He was nervous too, though he wouldn't show it openly. Well, our fate is sealed anyway. The Allies are counting on us. I agree that this is a huge turning point. To help the company we aim to dismantle. I imagine this ought to be very nerve-wracking. Silverstream nodded. They were interrupted when Clementine came down the stairs. Good morning, guys. It took all my charm and consolation, but I was able to convince Dad to let AJ and I join the war as well. This is gonna be awesome! Woo-hoo-hoo! Hawk smiled. I admire your enthusiasm, Clem, but there's no guarantee that the Allies will win, even with our help. How'd you take the news? It was shocking to say the least, Clementine replied. But it was not just the war that shocked me. It was the fact Dad kept this from us, from us, our entire family for who knows how long. I could have helped sooner. I know, Hawk answered, but he was trying to protect you and AJ, so you have to understand where he's coming from. Blind assumptions and grudges are what led to the war in the first place. Anyway, where are we meeting the Allies? The stadium, Clementine said. The football stadium is nearby, and that is where the majority of the competition will take place according to Dad. So I guess we better get going. Uncle Kenny will drive us there. Welcome to day 22 of the Grand American Competition War, announced Cool, the otherworldly being that was running the competition. The stadium was packed to the bone, with people scrambling to find their seats before the next contest would begin. Hawk had never seen such a huge audience like that before, cheering. Some people cheered for Unit powers, some cheered for the Allied powers. Well, this is sure an interesting crowd, Kenny said, still finding their seats, but they're already cheering. You ain't gonna like who you're up against. Marcus Chang and Film Person are mean leaders. They're as radical anti-Disney as you can get. Lee doesn't like them, and I don't blame them. Marcus Chang and Film Person? Ozellus echoed. Kenny nodded. The stadium door to the far end opened, and in step about 20 people all dressed in black. The two men at the front wear confident and smug looks as they came towards the center of the stadium. Marcus Chang and Film Person, you're late. Film Person protested. Well, that's because Cole screeched and Film Person fell to the floor unconscious. At the far right end, the door opened and in stepped in the Allied representatives. J.J. Abrams from Disney, Lee from Hasbro, Brian Adensky from Paramount, James Bobin from Nickelodeon, Tom McGrath from DreamWorks, and Tiffany Haddish from Illumination. When the Allies stepped through the door, many people cheered, some booed. Same went with the internets. Cole cleared his throat. The next challenge will be to climb the top of a ladder and retrieve a model of Grogar's bell, which Hasbro has happily provided. If you touch the bell, you'll be safe. The one who fails will result in that team being up for elimination. The contest will feature 2 people. I choose Hawk the newbie and Marcus as the contestants. Marcus Chang smiled smugly. The Lord God compels me to destroy Disney. Good luck, Vampire Pony. Hawk snorted. Cole held up a blue cracked bell and produced a ladder and tall counter with his magic. He climbed the ladder and placed the bell on the counter. Ready, set, and final set. Go! Quick as a flash, Marcus Chang hurried towards the ladder, Hawk scrambling to follow him. But Hawk was too late. Marcus grabbed the bell and gave it to Cole. Cole smiled. Despite winning that contest, Marcus is disqualified until next week from the competition, making Hawk the winner. What? Marcus Chang demanded. Cole's smile grew wider. The audience has discovered that Marcus has a criminal record and a history of cheating, and he is to be disqualified pending further investigation. What the heck, Marcus? Recently recovered Film Person shouted. Marcus Chang stormed out of the stadium towards the detention center, grumbling and muttering, "It reminds me of my childhood." I don't believe it, said Abrams. We won? Our first victory? Cole took out a paper and said, the next challenge will be an opinion-changing contest. Ryan Adensky will attempt to change critics' minds about Wonder Park, and Film Person will uphold critic reviews. Ready, set, go! Hawk never thought he'd actually be moved by a speech, but he was honestly moved by Ryan Adensky's passionate and emotional speech about what made Wonder Park, the main character June Bailey, special. The audience talked amongst themselves, and a lot ended up in agreement. Film Person attempted to convince the audience to hate the movie again, but it was clear Adensky won him over. Cole clapped his hand. Time's up! The Allies are safe! That means the haters are up for elimination! It's time for a cake at stake! Film Person scowled. It turned out that Masked Man 66 was the one eliminated, and he stormed off towards the detention center with a look of hateful rage. Cole then declared Day 22 over, and everyone went home. Chapter 7. Victory Feast! Hello! That night, we invited the other Allied representatives to dinner to celebrate their first 2 victories over the haters. Everyone was invited, including our 4 heroes. We'll all be mind blown, said Tiffany Haddish. Our first 2 victories. Now how does that feel, everyone? Everyone nodded in approval, eating special cupcakes as a tribute to Pinkie Pie. Now, and I've been thinking about participating in a Wonder Park sequel, said Ryan Adensky, voice actress of June stated. There's plenty more to be done with June and her animal friends after the movie and TV show. I'm going to talk to Paramount about this after we win the war. And we can help fund the budget, said J.J. Abrams, as a token of gratitude to our fellow Allied power. In those haters' faces. Everyone did a toast to the future. And we can create a My Little Pony Season 10, he said, smiling. How about that? That would be awesome, Dad, AJ exclaimed. Amen to that, replied Kenny warmly. All right, Lee declared. Season 10 it is then. Clementine and AJ high-five. Our future may be bright after all, Tom McGrath said, thanks to the help of Lee's children and the arrival of these creatures from Equestrian. We're honored to help, Ozalus added. It's what friends do for each other. Silverstream nodded, actually smiling a little. And we'd never leave our friends behind. The tide of this war is turning in our favor. Hawk faced everyone present. Before I entered this world, our mission was to destroy Hasbro, as we viewed them as a threat to our independent existence. But we know now that Hasbro is not the enemy. We are united now for a common cause, to end the Great War. We have a chance now. If we continue to stay true to ourselves and our beliefs, the haters don't stand a chance. We will crush this violent hater movement and restore peace to this country if it is the last thing we do. United we stand, divided we fall. We shall carry the spirit of freedom to watch, inspire, and create. These troops will help us win. Together we have the power to end this war, but only to stick together no matter what. Not just as allies, but as friends sticking by one another to the end. Everyone, are you ready to endure whatever battle comes our way and win the war once and for all? Everyone shouted, yeah! Then we don't have to fear the haters, Hawk declared. No matter how insane Equestrian may be, and or how stubborn film person may be, we still have each other's backs for all time. And when we're done, the shattered ignorant powers will learn to respect the allies. They will keep their wrong opinions to themselves. Long live entertainment! Everyone echoed, long live entertainment! That was a beautiful and compelling speech, Silverstein complimented. Thanks, Silver, Hawk replied. Up until the end when you talk about suppressing opinions, but I'll go with it. Oh, Gonzalez commented. Tomorrow, Clementine and AJ have school, he said, so we'll have to compete in the competition without them. I have an idea, Clementine announced. No more fall-sick call-ins, he warned. Clementine laughed. No, Dad, this idea has to do with an upcoming school fundraiser. Wow. We'll each bet on a topic, and the student with the highest number gets their topic the subject of the fundraiser. If I can bet the highest number, I can start a campaign at the school to support the war effort. Try $1,000,000, said Miranda. That's the highest you can get. Don't worry, the odds as a whole will pay off that debt. Sounds good to me, AJ affirmed. Tomorrow, we'll start a new petition. Sounds hard, he told them, but if you two can make it work, then I'm honestly on board with it. As you can see, we need all the help we can get. I approve. Then it's settled, Hawk said. Tomorrow we will continue to fight our battles, while these kids help with the war effort from school. It's the perfect strategy. That is what we shall now go with. Works for me, J.J. Abrams said. Sounds like a good strategy. Now the only question is whether it'll work. Song Chapter 1. Be Prepared.
Are as wet as a warthog's backside. As thick as you are, pay attention. My words are untied. It's clear from your vacant expression. The lights in the whole are not sky. We're talking kings and successions. Even you can't be caught unawares. And where do we fit? Just I found some story, but you'll be rewarded. But at last I got to give up my dues. Justice deliciously square.
Be prepared. 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 That will soon be connected. The king will be all time adored.
Of course, quid pro quo, you expected to take some duties on board. And though I the point that I must emphasize
Mickey! Country. We will crush the allies and the corporations. We will crush the war effort and conquer all. Be prepared. Yes, our teeth and ambitions are bad. Be prepared. Author's note, things take a dark turn here, just warning you. Chapter 8, Day 23, The Battle of Custody. The next day was Day 23 of the Great War competition, and the second day of competing for Hawk, Marcellus, and Silverstring. When they got to the stadium, they saw that Marcus Chang was back early. When Lee and Cole asked about this, the screeching alien contest host replied, "Corn flakes." Whatever that means, said film person who got screeched once again. I'm sorry, I just love the parts where film person gets screeched. Today, announced Cool, Marcus Chang has been cleared of any wrongdoing recently, so he's back early. The next challenge will be a battle out for custody with Clementine and AJ. He stepped back in shock. Marcus Chang smiled. I have expressed a desire to own your children as my slaves. If I win this contest, then I shall have them. And the Lord God compels me to correct your children's opinions. Never, he shouted, you and your false God shall never have my kids. Marcellus cringed, and Hawk couldn't blame her. This was essentially kidnapping. If the Allies lost this one, it would hurt morale. The challenge's outcome shall be decided by a court judge, Cole said. Meet Mike, co-host Holly, expert in law, second only to me in power level. There was a bright purple flash, and a giant duck-toller dog appeared, wagging her tail. Also, Cole added, he snapped his fingers, and Clementine and AJ appeared, falling to the ground. They'll be observing. Aw, no fair, AJ said. The topic selection was gonna start. There, who's that giant dog? Clementine asked. Holly smiled widely. Hello, kids. My name is Holly, co-host to Cole himself and civil case judge back in my dimension. I shall determine who's fit to own the two. Well, obviously Dad, Clementine replied. What's this about? And he sighed deeply. Marcus Chang has expressed a desire to kidnap you two as slaves. I have to win this contest so I can save you two from this. Ready, set, go! Marcus Chang began. It has come to my attention that these children have fallen from the Lord God's grace, and I'm here to restore them to his grace. You see, things would be much better if I owned them, as they would be saved from becoming like their father, always focused on money. That's not something we taught to kids. Holly nodded in understanding, consulting her red ball. Lee countered with his own speech about how his children were very special to him, and how he loved them. Once again, Holly nodded and consulted her red ball. Then Cole announced that Marcus Chang had won. Clementine's eyes were wide with fear as Marcus came over and seized her by the arm. Let's go! Clem protested, struggling in his grip. AJ quickly reacted, but film person overpowered him easily. Dad, help me! Clementine called out to him, tears filling up in her eyes. He just stood there with a look of pain. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, AJ, for everything. Clem began to cry, and so did AJ, but their quiet sobs went ignored. Marcus Chang and film person led them out of the stadium. Bandicoot, another hater, looked at the audience, waited them to cheer for the internet powers. They didn't. The crowd focused on the hater team with a look of disgust and hate. Holly looked nervous. Okay, this is an awkward situation. How could you agree to something like that, Cole? A woman from the crowd shouted. The other crowd members echoed that sentiment. Day 23 is over, Cole announced. The competitions are resumed next week. Everyone left. As Hawk walked out the door, he saw a black car, and inside the car was Clementine trying to get out. She looked at Lee with tears in her eyes. He rested his hand against the car window, as he climbed from the other side. I'll get you and AJ back, I promise. I'll be strong for you, Dad, Clem said, her voice choking on the words as tears flowed down her face. AJ and I will never give up hope. That's the spirit, Clem, he encouraged her. Be strong. Don't give in to whatever lies Marcus Chang and some person say to you. We will crush those critics and haters so bad they'll never have an opinion again. She nodded. I love you, Dad. I love you, sweetheart. I told her. Just then, Marcus Chang and film person came towards the door, and England turned away from me, gesturing with her eyes to tell him to go. We got the memo. Let's go, team. It was at this moment that Hawk realized how important winning the war was. The hater groups, they were child abducting psychos. He had seen Clem's eyes full of tears as she spoke, submitting to her fate, but being strong for her family. He admired Clem's commitment. Now it was time to commit himself fully to the competition. He'd been taking baby steps. Now it was time to embrace the military commander inside him again. Time to embrace the strategic part of him that helped keep the Lunar Republic afloat during the Equestrian Civil War for so long. He knew that getting the kids back was top priority, and he was going to think of a good strategy. Chapter 9. Strategy Meeting. It took a while for Hawk to convince Lee to hold an Allied Council meeting, but Lee eventually agreed. "What are we even doing here?" asked Brian Adensky. "We should be raising a white flag and surrender." "We cannot surrender yet," Hawk tried. "What is the point of persisting, Hawk?" Lee suddenly shouted, "My children are gone. What's left for me?" "Lee, this whole war is stupid," Tiffany Haddish said. "We never should have declared war in the first place." "You're the one to talk," yelled James Wilburn. "Actually, no. The blame should be directed at Disney. They brought us into this. You could have stayed out of it." A.J. Abrams shot back. "No one forced you to join us. I wish we never joined this war," he declared. "I'm thinking of breaking out the Allies," announced Brian Adensky. "Me too," everyone else yelled, and soon everyone was arguing back and forth between one another. Silverstream then said, "Please, don't fight." Lascelles put her arms around her friend's shoulder. Hawk thought about his revolution from earlier, and imagined that the Allied Council was the Lunar Republican Army back during the Equestrian Civil War. He got up from the table and boomed, "Everyone stop!" The arguing ceased and everyone turned to look at him. Hawk took a deep breath. "This is what the haters want. They want to divide us. They want to break us apart. We can't let them. I thought the Allied powers were stronger than this." "What hope is left?" Lee asked. Clementine and AJ have been kidnapped by Marcus Chang and Film Person, no doubt being tortured. What's left to fight for? Those kids were the most precious people in the world, known to me. And he said, "Besides you, brother, how can we go on? It's not too late," Hawk explained. "You can challenge Marcus Chang and Film Person for a rematch. It's not out of the rules. We can still win. Come on, we can't give up that easily. It's not what Clement and AJ would want. The best way to honor your children's sacrifices are to keep fighting. We cannot give in to the fear, the darkness, you name it. Together we are stronger than our enemies. Haters want to divide us, destroy us, and crush us. We can't let them do that. I know times are bleak, and our future is uncertain, but we have one thing that our enemies do not have: respect. Haters do not have respect for anyone. The Empire..." He cleared his throat. "I mean, the haters may have the cunningness, but we have the determination." He turned towards Lee. "Lee, you created the show. Did Twilight and her friends ever give up?" "No, they didn't. They had the magic of friendship on their side. But that doesn't mean..." "Brianna," Hawk said, you remember the Wonder Park movie? Well, when June and the others were saving Wonderland, did your character ever give up?" Brianna shook her head. "No, almost, but she persevered. As did Boomer, Steve, Gus, Cooper, Greta, and eventually Peanut as well." "Exactly," Hawk told them. "Those are all worth fighting for. Honesty, kindness, laughter, generosity, loyalty, magic. All the values of friendship guide us. The force guides us. Everything we sacrifice, everything we gain. We did it all together. That is what we must do to win. Unite together as one. The Allies must become stronger. Next week shall be the last week of the war. We will crush the haters so bad they will surrender finally. The war will end, and in doing so, we will get Clementine and AJ back. But that will only happen if we persevere. We must think of who we're fighting for. Who we're fighting for. Our friendship shall protect us."
Fully into it now, he grabbed the spear from his armor and held it up in the air. "Forward, my friends! For AJ and Clementine, for peace, we will fight for what we believe in. Together, we will win!" Everyone stood up, erupting into applause, holding their kitchen knives in the air in a similar manner. "Everyone," Hawk declared, "we have work to do." He saw Silverstein and Lascelles get up and cheer along with everyone else. Chapter 10. Training.
Motivational Wonder Park video represents the chapter. The next few days involve rigorous training, said by Hawk himself. Hawk knew that the only way to win the war was to properly train for it. Brianna invited her fellow Wonder Park cast stars, Isla Kuntis, Greta, Norbert, Leo, and Peanut, Ken Hudson Campbell, Boomer, and Kanan Thompson, Gus, John Oliver, Steve, and Ken Jeong, Cooper. Sophia Malley, who portrayed the younger version of June, was also invited. Lee meanwhile called upon the VAs of the main six for training. Tara Strong, Clyde Sparkle, Ashley Bull, Rainbow Dash and Applejack, Andrea Libman, and Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy, Tabitha St. Germain, Rarity, and Kathy Weslick, Spike. Soon the house was crowded as everyone invited officially declared their membership in the war. Hawk, with the help of Lee and Kenny, created a list of potential contests to train for. Her told Brianna and her co-stars to build a backyard-sized version of Wonderland to be the competition setting. Once that was done, the makeshift contests began from marketing campaigns to cooking challenges to free balls, obstacle courses, races, and a do-over the Groger's Bell challenge, etc. It took a few tries, but eventually the future contestants got the hang of it as each day passed. Then Hawk assigned the Wonder Park stars the task of repairing the makeshift clockwork swings, while the My Little Pony Friendship with Magic team would square off against Kenny, who was in a convincing Lord Tyrek costume. After that, the Dizzy team, consisting of Daisy Ridley, Ray, Adam Driver, Kylo Ren, Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker, Tom Holland, Peter Parker, and Zendaya MJ, were tasked with fighting Hawk along with Lee and Kenny. As the days passed, the trainees honed their skills, getting better and better. As Wednesday turned to Thursday, and Thursday turned to Friday, Hawk knew he was training a group of Hollywood warriors. On Friday, Hawk made a list of contests and had the trainees do them. It soon came to the point where the trainees did the contest without his prompting, and that was when Hawk told Lee they were ready. Finally, Sunday was the rehearsal, practice contest. For all the practice contests, and everyone prepared for this big day tomorrow when the competition war would restart with day 24. That night, the new contestants set up tents in the backyard Wonderland, while Kenny, Hawk, Silverstream, Osiris, and Lee slept in the house. Before going to their respective bedrooms, Lee approached Hawk. "Do you really think that they're ready?" Hawk nodded. "They are. I've tested and drilled them non-stop. They'll be ready to go by morning. What you need is to tell Marcus Chang to bring the kids to the stadium. We'll challenge Marcus Chang in film person the first thing we get there." Lee nodded back. "Thanks. By the way, and thanks for helping us instead of destroying us. The Allies certainly owe you guys a tribute whether you win or lose." Hawk shook his head. "You guys owe nothing to us except for the 4 conditions we agreed to. You don't need a tribute. I think I might have located Twilight," he said after hesitating for a moment. "Kenny and I have located her all the way in Alaska. She's currently in self-imposed exile with someone called Admiral Producer." "Admiral Producer?" Hawk echoed. He nodded. "I knew him once. A very vocal supporter of Disney, Hasbro, etc. Very positive person. But when the war began, he fled. No one, not even his family, has been able to locate him. Until now, I have." Hawk considered this. "If we were to go to Alaska early and retrieve both Admiral and Twilight, could we easily win?" "For sure," he confirmed. "I have 0 doubts about Twilight, but we have a competition to handle." "Tell you what," Hawk said. "I'll take charge of the Allied powers while you and Kenny go to retrieve Twilight and Admiral Producer. How does that sound?" He seemed to think about this. "It'll take several days to book, but by then I should be ready. Do you think you can lead the Allies?" Hawk said. Hawk nodded. "I've spent enough time with you guys to know how the Allies operate. First order of business, challenge the hitters for custody. Second, win the war." He nodded back. "I knew I can count on you, Hawk." "Alright, I'm going to bed. Good night, Hawk." "Good night, Lee," responded Hawk, walking to his bedroom and went downstairs while Lee went upstairs. Tomorrow, they're going to show the haters who was boss. Chapter 11. Day 24. The Second Battle of Custody and Retaliation. Hawk was awoken the next day by a high school girl with a purple backpack and black hair. Hawk got up. "Huh? Who are you?" The girl replied. "Notice anything different about me?" It took a while for Hawk to process this, and he knew. Zendaya, is that you? Zendaya nodded. Yep, only now you'll know me as MJ. Hawk was confused now. MJ? Zendaya, now MJ, nodded again. Osiris used their changing magic to transform us all into the characters we played in movies. I played MJ in Spider-Man Homecoming and Spider-Man Far From Home. So yeah, now you know me as MJ. Tom Holland has become Peter Parker, Gwen has become June, and yeah, you know one once I show you. Come on. Rock followed MJ to the living room where he saw the main five watching TV, along with the Wonder Park stars and their character personas. June, Boomer, Peanut, Greta, Steve, Gus, and Cooper. Spider-Man was waiting for MJ and he greeted her good morning. I trust everyone has had an eventful night? Everyone nodded. Nimble Dash flipped from the couch and saluted Hawk. Let's go kick those flanks. What's all the transformations about? Hawk questioned them. Kenny thought it'd be more convincing and intimidating if we were to go as our characters, he explained. Not to mention, it would astound the audience. Roshan came over from the kitchen. Just made us breakfast. I can't believe Ocellus was able to pull off a feat like that. So, is our course clear? Asked Peter Parker, removing his Spider-Man mask. Hawk nodded. I guess if we were able to go in, I don't think we'll have a problem with animals coming in to compete. Not to mention he has a dog as a co-host, Peanut said, laughing a little. We'll be fine. As soon as we and Ocellus wake up, we're on our way to the stadium to get those kids back. The alternate Twilight Sparkle nodded. We're going to defeat them with the power of the magic of friendship. Yeah, then let's do this, team. It's time to get serious. 7 days ago, we lost. All of us. We lost friends. We lost family. We lost a part of ourselves. Today we have a chance to take it all back. We have the chance to make it all right. Today Aiders will fall. Today we'll regain custody of Clementine and AJ. And today we will restore order to the world. You all know what you train for. You all know what you practice. This is the fight of our lives. We will fight and we will win. For the movies. For the movies. Day 24 was a very crowded day. Already, the audience was twice the size it was on day 23. And this audience was much more vocal too. Many people were carrying signs that said, "Down with the haters," or "Save Clem and AJ." Hawk was honestly glad that the audience was on their side. It gave the Allies more hope for a victory. We're gonna have our hands full, commented MJ. We better win this one. I hope so too, said J.J. Abrams. Alright, so once the internet powers enter the stadium, Hawk will issue the challenge. Assuming Crooked Chang brought the kids. Hawk told him, if they even lay a hand on my children, I will tear them to pieces and end the war myself. And he threatened, that would be desirable, but not ideal. Kenny said. There was a bright flash of light, and Cool appeared, much to everyone's shock. Welcome, Cool announced. Today will be a very special day because today is the day the custody challenge has been reissued. The audience cheered and applauded. Just then the haters entered the room. Marcus Chang looking grim. In handcuffs was Clementine, badly beaten and bruised with her head down. Seeing this, Lee gasped and began to run towards his daughter, but Applejack held him back. Hold on there, Nellie! Hawk stepped forward and shouted, Marcus Chang, film person. The Allied forces challenge you for custody of Clementine and AJ. Clementine looked up for a split second. Her eyes focused on Lee and Hawk before she put her head back down again at film person's glaring. She heard us, guys! Boomer exclaimed. Cool smiled widely. Holly and I have received the counter challenge, and I have turned it into a contest. The next challenge will be sword fighting between Hawk and Marcus Chang. If Hawk wins, then Clementine will belong to the Allies once again. Marcus Chang will be subsequently and automatically eliminated for too many failures. However, if Marcus wins, then Clementine shall stay with her captors, and Lee Everett shall relinquish all claims and ties to his former daughter. Cole shot a laser from his hands at Hawk's head, causing him to double over in pain, a health bar appearing above his head. Same thing happened with Marcus. Alright, Hawk, June said. This is the big fight. It's make or break time. You cannot mess this up. Hawk nodded, removing his spear from his armor and began walking towards Marcus Chang, who was already holding a metal sword in his hand. The duel began at once, with Marcus Chang making an aggressive attack with his sword, which was immediately countered by Hawk's spear. Hawk knew the basic and advanced rules of sword fighting. Princess Luna had taught him everything while he was training for the Lunar Republican Army. He utilized these tactics, but soon realized 15 minutes in that it would not be enough. Marcus stabbed and slashed at Hawk's spear as he countered it. Marcus ran up fast, not giving Hawk enough time to block. He saw Clementine struggle against her captors, wanting to help him. He briefly caught her eyes. She looked at him in a way that kept him going. It was a look of hope mixed with fear. She was encouraging him silently, but was also afraid he would lose. Hawk was losing all right. 2 minutes later, he was driven to his knees. Marcus Chang preparing to stab him and deliver the final blow. And that's when he remembered. In his final moments, he remembered everything. His childhood, his training to the army, his adoption of Silverstream, the rescue mission, etc. He recalled his first actual conversation with his future adopted daughter. Silverstream had been in slavery for 8 whole years. Clementine was going the exact same thing, and Hawk had to stop it. As Marcus Chang raised the sword to bring it down on Hawk's head, Hawk sprang up and blocked the sword as it came down with the spear. Marcus stared for a split second in complete shock, but nonetheless continued with his attacks, Hawk countering with far more brutal ones. Marcus was tiring out, and Hawk took advantage of that. Taking a deep breath, Marcus continued to duel, but within moments, Hawk delivered a blow so hard that the metal sword flew out of Marcus' grasp and clattered to the floor. Marcus' eyes went wide with horror as he shouted, "Lord God, save me!" Those were his last words, as Hawk delivered a blow with his spear right into Marcus' heart. Marcus clutched his chest in pain, looking at the heavens for a moment before collapsing onto the ground, all the life gone out of him. Marcus Chang was dead. Hawk pulled the spear out from his enemy's chest and held him to the air. There was pause. And then everyone gave a standing ovation, chanting Hawk's name. The Allied powers win! Your net powers are up for elimination, which we can already agree that Marcus is automatically eliminated, as I stated before. The old person glared daggers at Cool, but told his fellow haters, "Never let it be said that I'm not a man of my word. Release her." The person next to him grumbled and moved to release his hold on Clementine, who ran across the stadium into Lee's arms. He embraced her, everyone cheering once again. I'm so glad you're alright," he said. "I'm fine, Dad." Clem told him, letting him go. "But AJ isn't." Lee looked concerned. MJ and Peter turned to look at them, while the other allied forces were congratulating Hawk, oblivious to AJ's predicament. "What happened?" MJ asked. "Where is your brother?" Clementine looked away. Marcus Chang got mad at me for defying him yesterday, and he killed AJ. It's my fault. He looked horrified. No. AJ's dead? It's horrible," Fluttershy exclaimed. She and the other allies now becoming aware of the situation. Clementine began to cry, burying her face into Lee's shoulder. "I could have saved him, but I was too scared of Marcus, so I just stood there and watched him collapse to the ground. Marcus continued to beat him until the film person took the pulse and said AJ was dead." June cursed under her breath. "That fool! Good thing he got a good whipping by Hawk. How could anyone be so cruel as to kill an 8-year-old? Hawk growled. He couldn't help it. He was so enraged. He walked up to Cool and said, "I'd like an extra contest, please. I'd like to compete against Film Person." Cool nodded eventually. "Very well. The next challenge will be a race. Hawk and Film Person will compete 1-on-1. He used his powers to expand the stadium. The entire audience filling the arena stretch until it was large enough to fit a giant racetrack. Film Person walked over to the starting line, and so did Hawk. Cool did the ready, set, go, and the two were off. Hawk was a fast trotter, but he was no match for Film Person's fast legs. But Hawk still persevered, intentionally faltering in the middle of the race. Film Person took the bait and ran towards the finish line before being upstarted by an accelerating Hawk. Nog sprinted towards the finish line, pouring all of his energy into it. He left Film Person in the dust, crossing the finish line by a long shot. Film Person couldn't believe he had been tricked. Once again, the Allies win. Then, Cole announced, "Your net forces are up for elimination. Now it is time for a break at play." The elimination began, and Film Person was eliminated, Cole opening a hole in the ground and dropping the screaming Film Person in it, closing the hole afterwards. The audience applauded again, and day 24 was declared over. Both IP leaders had been eliminated, and AJ had been avenged, although the news of his death would haunt the Allies for the whole evening that night. Chapter 12. The Internet Powers Regroup. With the scattered Internet Power forces met at the house of Jeremy, the leader of these misgamers. The haters had become disheartened after the defeat of Marcus Chang and Film Person, who both led them with pride. Many members of Jeremy's organization, the Phantom Menace, also agreed to meet at their leader's house to discuss a last-minute plan to defeat the Allies. When Admiral Producer went into exile, it was Jeremy who helped establish the Critics' Commonwealth of the Internet, an online community where haters were free to bash Disney whenever they wanted. Right now, Jeremy was the haters' last hope for survival against the tyranny of Disney. The haters trusted Jeremy. They knew he would never betray them. Knocked at the door, and Jeremy opened it, welcoming them inside. Joker told them about the Allies' 2 recent victories earlier today. Jeremy nodded understanding, looking trouble. Those SJWs wouldn't know true good moves if it came up and hit them in the face. My Internet Commonwealth is working on pushing supporters back, but the influence that Admiral Producer left on them before he left still remains. Fans like Deviator 518 are thinking of joining the Allies. It's just not good. Period nodded back. We were hoping you could join our ranks to stop the Allies once and for all during competition war. Come on, Jeremy. This is your chance to erase Apple Producer's name and influence forever. Jeremy shook his head. There's a problem. Without my leadership, the supporters will continue to mobilize, and my Commonwealth will collapse. So unless we leave someone else at the helm of Geeks and Gamers while I'm away, can't join you guys. The haters all nodded, considering this. Finally, Mike Morgan said, I shall assume command of the Commonwealth. Jeremy looked surprised. Are you sure? It's a big responsibility. I, too, had a legitimate beef with Admiral Producer, explained Mike Morgan. To the SJWs, Admiral Producer was like their god, but a god can be erased if another religion overtakes it, as I always say. I can handle those feminist scum, Jeremy. Trust me. Jeremy eventually nodded. If you are sure, Mike. When the latter nodded in lieu, Jeremy got out a lightsaber from a black bag, touched each of Mike's shoulders with them. By the right of the fandom, by the will of the critics, I hereby appoint you, Mike Morgan, as Chancellor of the Critics' Commonwealth of the Internet. Your first term shall be until we win the war. Then you can run for re-election. Mike Morgan stood up after that and smiled. Thank you, Jeremy. Now go crush those feminist non-fans. Go crush Disney. I'll assume command of your channel until you and the others get back. Jeremy nodded again. I will. We'll certainly win the war now. It is with great modesty that I assume command of the Internet forces. Let's go, fellow fans. Get woke, go broke. Get woke, go broke. The haters echoed. The haters were back in action and ready to make the Allies pay. Chapter 13. The Third Allied Council Meeting. That night, the entire Allied army was called to the meeting. This time it was held outside at a campfire, because there were a lot more people than in the second Allied Council meeting. Lee didn't join them at the meeting because he was consoling himself over AJ's death and simultaneously booking tickets to Alaska to retrieve Princess Twilight Sparkle and Admiral Producer from exile. Everyone was excited after their most recent victories, but were also sad because of AJ's death. Clementine's attitude tonight was noticeably different as she said something while coming towards the campfire. She sat on the floor next to Peter. Talk stood in front of everyone. Our next 2 victories. We're on a roll here. If we keep this up, the haters will be forced to surrender. We cannot afford to fail. Clementine, can you share with us what you experienced? Clementine shook her head. I'd rather not, if that's okay. Of course it is, darling. And he said, Hawk can share what he knows of your treatment. Hawk took a deep breath. Clementine here is a victim of the true nature of the haters. Marcus Chang, the guy who I killed in combat, has abused Clementine and treated her like a slave. That is what the haters do. Are we going to stand for treatment like this? and pretend it's just to hear his opinions? There was a big no from the crowd. Osalis came from the crowd and stood next to Hawk. Our future is looking up. All we have to do is continue fighting. We will win and show these haters who's really in charge here. What we have to do now is and suddenly she screamed and held her head like she was having a headache. Hawk felt the same. He felt like he was being torn apart. Inside his mind, he saw a brief vision of a man in a cloak violently disconnecting a wire from an outlet. Finally it faded. He came running outside. What's the matter? I heard Osalis screaming. Are you alright? Osalis took a few deep breaths. Yeah, I'm fine. The heck was that? Peter asked. Hawk took a deep breath. I felt like I was being torn to shreds. In my mind, I saw someone yanking the cord of an outlet, and he went pale. Oh no. Hawk, whoever it was, she just pulled the plug on the show. And that's a bad thing? Asked MJ. Of course it is. He said, that wire is what held the Equestrian world together. That bandit just unplugged your world. That means Equestrian's on the brink of total destruction. Hawk was alarmed now. We have to find a way back there and evacuate every creature. It's the haters doing. I just know it. Sorcerer commented from the back of the crowd. Never mind that now, he told him. Okay, we need to get a helicopter and a straight shot way back to Equestrian. I can open a portal, said Twilight, but we need some way to get a helicopter. Not to worry, I can conjure one. She used her magic to conjure a giant helicopter. The fate of Equestria depends on us, Osalis said. Let's get in the helicopter and go save Equestria. Chapter 14. The Cataclysm. It came without warning. 1 minute there was peace, and everybody was cooling off after the recent re-election of Moonbeam, which had been a big event. The next minute, the sky was being engulfed in a clear, white static void. Everyone screamed and ran while cracks began forming on the ground. Trees and grass seemed to melt under their hooves and dissolve into an empty white void. Already some ponies had fallen in and were lost forever, but the majority of ponies were spotted as to dodge the collapsing ground. Citrine Spark stood outside the school for gifted students, while her friends Berry Blend and Patty Peppermint watching in fear along with the other ponies as the Republic, their land, their home, began rapidly disintegrating into the white abyss. Seeing all this, Spark couldn't help but tremble. She resisted the urge to cry. She knew that weakness wouldn't solve the problem, but strength wouldn't either. Guys, look! Exclaimed the unicorn student. A flying machine! Sure enough, a giant helicopter seemed to fly right out of the quickly disintegrating sun and towards the ground. It's Sorcerer and Osalis! They're back! Berry Blend exclaimed. The ground cracked underneath the recruiting hooves, making cries of fear and alarm. The helicopter came towards them and touched down in front of them. Hawk came up. Come with us if you want to live. Hurry, students, hurry! Citrine Spark wasted no time in bolting towards the helicopter, her classmates following close behind. She saw strange creatures on the helicopter, but she didn't have time to find out as a massive running was practically trampled her. She got back up, going towards Sorcerer and Osalis. Citrine Spark, I'm glad you're alright, Osalis said. What has happened? Citrine Spark came out as a whimper as she described what happened. Hawk came over, nodding in understanding. We must evacuate every creature from the equine territories. The helicopter isn't nearly that big enough, Greta warned them. We'd be taking too much of a risk. It's a risk worth taking, June replied, whispering something into Peanut's ear. Peanut nodded. Sounds like a splendiferous idea. Hang on, everyone. He waved his gold magic marker, and the helicopter began expanding. Everyone felt it, and Spark had to hang on for dear life as the wall stretched and bulged. Once it was done, the helicopter looked much more expanded, and was enough to fit the world's population. Alright, answered Twilight. I have to confess, I never really install in my character's form other than open that portal, but I'll give this a whirl. She went towards the edge of the helicopter room, towards the door, and sent out several white tendrils from her horn onto the rapidly disintegrating land. A few minutes later, Twilight's spell vanished, and about a moment later, about 2 million creatures appeared on the helicopter, looking around confused. Alright, Penny said, let's get out of here. Lee began piloting the helicopter away from the area before Clementine suddenly said, Wait, look! She was standing near the edge of the helicopter, and on the rapidly disintegrating ground was a purple Pegasus filly, scrambling to look for her mother. Wind sprint! Hawk exclaimed. She must have been separated during the teleportation spell. Oh no, Clear Sky said. Lynn, sweetie, can you hear me? Someone has to go get down here and save her, or we are all screwed. Who's going? Every creature talked amongst themselves, and the Citrine Spark was growing increasingly worried about that filly, out in the middle of a giant cataclysm. I'll go. The Citrine Spark began acting out of her instincts to help, but was cut off by Kenny, who said, I'll go. We'll give her a boost so she can get up there. Kenny, no. He shook his head. I already lost AJ. I can't lose you too. You know we'll have to get out of this world and we can't go back for you. Clementine shook her head. Uncle Kenny, no. Please don't leave us. Kenny put his arm around his waist. Clem, if I don't go, then that filly there dies. I have to save the last creature on this planet. You can't stop me. And Kenny then let go, and ran towards the edge of the helicopter and jumped. But a grappling hook stopped him, and he was on the side too, shaking his head. And no, Kenny, don't do this to me. Kenny maintained crying. Go away. No. His voice choked with emotion. Please, no, brother. Kenny smiled. It's okay. Please. You may. Kenny then kicked off the side and fell. Heart broke. The Clementine's heart-wrenching, blood-curdling scream, Kenny! A few minutes later, Kenny hit the ground, managing to pick up Lynn Sprint, who was hanging on for dear life on the dissolving ground, and boost her up in the helicopter. The ground had finally shattered, taking Kenny and the rest of civilization with it, just as Wind Sprint finally made it to the helicopter, her mother Clear Sky pulling her up. The portal opened, and the helicopter flew through with everyone except Kenny, safe and sound. Alright, Wilson said. So far we have found homes for so many of our friends from Equestria, and we're just hoping a few more of you will open your doors, and your hearts to those in need. We're back in the house with, only with practically 6 million creatures crowding the house. Well, said Rainbow Dash, I can take 3 or 4 ponies into my house back at home. Only 4? We asked. Well, I suppose we can keep the majority of those remaining at the house, considering how big our backyard is. We could probably build a mini Ponyville. And what of us other creatures? Novo asked. It's an easy thing to find the thousands of ponies good homes to live in. It is quite another to accommodate all creatures. Oh, Princess Skystar said. I'd like a home at a beach or something. That'd be so cool. So many shells. My sister Krista lives near a beach. He replied, I think I can arrange something. Alright, is that all? Not yet, came a voice. There was another bat pony, stepping to the crowd. My name is Owl. I will not just sit there in someone else's home while people that destroyed our world run loose. I want vengeance. Every creature nodded in agreement. Lee held up his hand. Please, every creature. I know you want to see the haters defeated as much as we do, but we must be practical and safe, especially after our most recent tragedy. Hey, differing opinions are bad. Shouted Dragon Lord Ember. Everyone agreed, chanting, Avenge our world! Avenge our home! Everyone stop! Locke ordered, we must not, guys! They called from upstairs. Clementine's missing. What? He demanded. Everyone stared, shocked. Chapter 16. The haters are blamed. The police were all over the search immediately. Every officer in nearby cities and towns were ordered to search for Clementine in hopes that she didn't go far. The following week, Day 25 was announced. The competition resumed with Cool announcing another opinion-changing contest. Jeremy, the new leader of the haters, began making speech of how Disney ruined Star Wars in the MCU. And was caught off when Rainbow Dash said, I bet you kidnapped Clementine. Everyone was silent. Silence! Phil shouted. Ollie appeared next to him. Now, let's hear what the allies have to say. That was when Osella said, It does make sense, doesn't it? You guys kidnapped her once. There's nothing stopping you from doing it again. Especially if it gives you leverage against Disney. Jeremy shook his head, stepping towards the allies. No, we didn't kidnap Clementine. Why should we believe you? He asked. After all, your friends killed her little brother. Jeremy tried to get out of the confrontation by hastily telling the crowd, You see, another lie from an SJW show, accusing us of child abduction.
Then this doggy said, Oh yes, I am an SJW. Because I'm a communist. Propaganda.
But he could see that the crowd was siding more and more with the Allies. I believe we have the right to put the haters under investigation. And they told Cool, there's no telling what those scum could try and cheat. They might even try and overthrow Cool, just to eliminate us from the contest. Isn't that right, haters? This got Cool's attention. Ray Riley tried to say, leftover shells from the Admiral Producer era. I knew he'd be a bad influence on society, so did you kill him? Peter Parker suddenly exploded. Well, listen, we began at that time. Murderers! Hawk shouted. The crowd echoed the sentiment, chanting, murderers! Bull declared day 25 over. California state government put every hater and critic under investigation the following day. Haters were shunned and discriminated against. Schools took measures to crack down on resumes, expelling anyone who openly voiced criticism against any filming corporation. Many radical haters were put under house arrest, and children of critics were put in juvenile detention facilities. Haters were prohibited from having jobs or running businesses. It was becoming like another Holocaust. Ostalis looked out the window of the house, staring sadly at the police posted around every corner of the neighborhood. She trembled slightly when she saw Blue being yanked out of the house by the police, put in handcuffs, her mother frantically apologizing on her son's behalf. Ostalis couldn't look at the sight anymore. She felt tears come to her eyes. What have we done? She whimpered. Just then someone came to the road. It was Silver String, coming towards her. Hi, Osalis. Osalis wiped her tears. Oh, hi, Silver String. I sighed. Silver, I don't want to be involved in this war anymore. We're hurting too many people. Silver String nodded. All we managed to do is hurt so many. We must escape. But where will we go? Osalis asked her. Our homeland is destroyed and guards being put down in every corner. Silver String shook her head. I don't know. This is the exact opposite of democracy. This is slavery. I'm just glad Clementine doesn't care to see what her home has become. In her voice. Things would be much better if we just stayed home and did not come here at all. Where is Clementine anyway? Silver String asked. That's always bugged me since the night she went missing. Chapter 17. Letting them know. While all the drama was going on back home, Clementine had sneaked out of the house and gone to Alaska, where she found Princess Twilight Sparkle and Admiral Producer living together in an abandoned cottage in a snowy wasteland area. Twilight looked much better. Twilight looked much bigger than her size in the actual show. She was as big as Celestia, with a flowing mane and all. Admiral Producer was a man in a purple t-shirt with glasses on, and blue jeans and iron eyes. Twilight and Admiral welcomed Clem in after seeing her half frozen to death out in the snowy blizzard. Ever since then, she'd been living with them for almost a week. But she still missed home, and every day she asked Admiral Producer if he wanted to return home and fulfill his destiny by winning the war against the haters. Admiral refused. He refused immediately and told her it was a losing battle, and not going back to take on the haters again because it was pointless. Disney, Hasbro, and all the rest, they deserved their downfall. Clementine was horrified. Disney, Hasbro, everyone, Admiral explained, they're all hypocrites. I was just too blinded by toxic fanaticism to see the facts. It's time for Disney to end. No, Clem shaking her head. You can't possibly think that. You're Admiral Producer, the infallible Disney supporter, the leader of the pro-Disney movement. The Admiral Producer laughed. Infallible? That's stretching it. I've started a new life here with Twilight. Well away from work, to the internet, activism, away from all the possible responsibilities. It's safe here. If you're scared of geeks and gamers, Clem began. I'm not scared of geeks and gamers, the Producer said, glaring dangerously at her. If I want, I could just rear him in head, burn his body, and sell his organs off to research and use his bones as toothpicks. But I don't want to. Why? Because I realized something. When I first started my channel, I was like, oh yay, let's respect opinions. And you know what? I gained followers that way. But my success got the better of me. In the end, I became no better than the haters. Suppressing opinions, ignoring facts, etc. Why go back to that life, Why draw more hate upon yourself than you need to? Someone called me the worst YouTuber ever, and they were right. I want no more of this, Clementine. No more trying to convince me. Clementine couldn't believe it. This was Admiral Producer? The legendary warrior who defended Disney to the end? No, it couldn't be true. I'll talk to Twilight about this, Clementine said. She'll force you to go. Good luck with that, replied Admiral. She doesn't force me to do anything. I'm free to make the decisions I want to because I'm an adult and she knows it. Besides, I want nothing to do with the drama also. Just try it. Clementine said nothing, getting up and walking towards Twilight, who was making dinner in the kitchen. She got the same response from Twilight. Don't bug Admiral don't bug Admiral about this, alright? Twilight told her. He's made it very clear that he wants nothing to do with the haters or Disney. I'm surprised he hasn't shouted at you, mentioned Jeremy. Last time I mentioned Jeremy's name, he blew a gasket and we didn't speak for a month. Please, Twilight, Clementine pleaded. The haters are terrible people. And Disney isn't? Twilight asked her. Clementine shook her head. No. If Admiral knew what the haters had done, then it would reignite his loyalty to Disney. And what exactly have they done that makes them so horrible, Clementine? Having their opinions? Asked Twilight. Clementine felt tears to her eyes at having to recount AJ's death. He explained everything from the assassination of Kathleen Kennedy to the destruction of Equestria. Hearing that Equestria had been destroyed seemed to have done it. She called Admiral inside. Admiral! Clementine has something she has to share. And when Clement explained everything again, Admiral Producer was furious, but he still didn't want to go back. What? Clementine asked. Even after all that, you still don't want to go back? Are you so mad at Disney for no reason you would push away all the horrible things that happen to people like me? Just escape this unbelievable nightmare? She broke down crying. AJ is dead and you don't care, do you? Maybe the haters are right. Admiral Producer just stood up and left, Twilight following after him. Clementine couldn't believe it. Why did she even bother to come? It was a lost cause. Why was she just so stupid? She considered her options. She could go home a failure, or stay here, well away from society, and the conflict that raged. She decided that the best course of action was to stay here. Eventually, when the conflict ended, and neither the Allies or the Internets won, she returned home with or without Admiral Producer and Twilight. She was about to go to her room when she heard footsteps and saw Admiral Producer return. Clementine wiped her tears. What do you want? You're wrong, Admiral Producer said. If there's one thing that's true about the haters, is that they are never right. He stood up tall and proud and said, I'll get me my Mickey Mouse t-shirt and a good Disney hat. We journeyed to California. Chapter 18. The Allies confront the Internet powers / Allies assemble. Princess Twilight arrived. While Admiral Producer and Princess Twilight said goodbye to their beloved cottage and prepared to head home, the Allies back home faced a different problem. It happened when Day 26 was surprisingly announced, and Holly told J.J. Abrams that the haters had decided to rebel and challenge the Allies yet again in a last-ditch effort to restore freedom of speech and democracy. Lascelles and Solution appealed to the Allied War Council, trying to tell them that continuing the war was not a good idea. But sadly, they were outvoted, as the War Council once again declared war with only MJ and Fluttershy voting against the war. They proceeded to go to the stadium, intending to crush the haters once and for all. But once they arrived, they were horrified by what they saw. As soon as they got to the arena, the doors on the stadium slammed shut, and the Allies saw what was happening. Cool was in a cage, and the entire audience was being held hostage by the haters, who, led by Jeremy, held them at gunpoint. Holly cursed. Oh no, this was a trap! The giant dog ran towards the cage, trying to open it, when Jeremy suddenly returned and shot a bullet at Holly, and blocked it with her powers. But only then that the other haters noticed that the Allies had come to the rescue. Jeremy smiled sinisterly. What's the occasion, Disney? Come to rescue this alien, or the audience? He made us to pull the trigger, and the people panicked. Enough of this! Locke said, Charge! The Allies charged at the haters, who left the captive audience to fight the Allies. Spider-Man swung at Jeremy, who shot him with his gun. No! Jeremy cried, running towards his side. The other haters took on the rest of the Allies, quickly disposing of June and her animal friends by knocking them out with tranquilizers. The main six stood a better chance, but they were all eventually knocked unconscious by tranquilizer darts on Imperious Park. The Joker then took on MJ, who was enraged by what Jeremy had done to Spider-Man. But even she stood no chance. She and all the allies were seriously wounded, knocked unconscious, and only Hawk was left to take on Jeremy and his hater army. Jeremy shook his head. In all my years of combating NPCs and SJWs, I seriously had underestimated you. Well, you should have stuck to the original plan of toppling Hasbro, huh? It would have made getting to Disney so much easier. It really is too bad. I did admire you. The magic of friendship can overcome all the evils in this world. I told him boldly. Jeremy just laughed. Well then, we'll see if the magic of friendship can overcome this one. Hawk wasn't up to give up. He was fiercely outmatched and outnumbered, but he would fight until his very last breath. Quickly, he grabbed out a sword, prepared to face the entire hater army. And all of a sudden, he heard a voice. Hawk, are you there? I turned around. Captain Hawk, you hear me? Hawk doesn't know where the voice coming from. Just when he saw a golden portal open to his left. On your left. Hawk turned and saw the golden portal opening wider till 3 figures stepped out of it. He could hear the audience gasping. Hawk didn't recognize the man in the middle, but he knew the first 2. At the left was Princess Luna, all in her nighttime glory, and to the right was the long-lost legendary Princess Twilight Sparkle, clad in golden battle armor, taller than before, and flowing mane. Hawk let out a sigh of relief. The man, Apple producer, nodded twice. Suddenly, I loved him Hasbro a lot. A brony YouTuber in character form flew out of the portal. At about 5,000 more portals opened everywhere. One portal opened to reveal Dr. Wolf and Canned Cream arriving. Soon, more than half the TF2 brony analysis community had arrived at the stadium through the rapidly opening portals. There came Katie Patterson, voice of Screwball and daughter in Discord and Screwball Split, followed by Ashley H. Mad Guy Pony then showed up, carrying Clementine on her back, setting her down after arriving. Meanwhile, in the growing army, Abra Producer, Princess Twilight, stood in front of a smaller army of Disney supporters. All of Abra Producer's allies were back at the scene, such as D-Vader's 518, Tyler Norton, Don Doe, and recently returned allied Walter Born King Inferno. Down with hate! Down with hate! This was repeated about 9 times as more portals opened and U.S. military officers arrived carrying the United States national flag. Several more troops arrived, carrying a British flag, a French flag, a Russian flag, and the allied powers of the 2 world wars had regrouped. The creatures of Equestrian, the lands beyond, then arrived, led by Queen Nova and Princess Skystar. The audience was amazed. Then came Cool's other co-hosts, Moron, Pondo the Dalmatian dog, Pixel the cat, and Ferocious Golden Retriever dog. Is that everyone? Asked Dr. Wolf. What, you wanted more? Asked Emerging from the rubble of the bleachers and the other arose Silver Quill, Castillo, Ink Rose, and finally, tiny lightning ripped on Silver Quill's shoulder, carrying a firearm. Everyone had arrived to the Allies' aid. Jeremy was shocked. His fellow friends were the same shock. Hawk looked boldly at Jeremy before shouting, Allies! There was a long pause before Hawk whispered, Assemble! Apple Producer then bellowed the battle cry. The now combined Allied powers forces charged the invaders. The crowd erupted into applause. Jeremy ordered his army to attack, and they charged at the Allies. The Battle of the Obsidian had begun. The armies collided, and the battle ensued. Princess Luna and Princess Twilight took to the skies, shooting down any hater that tried to shoot at them. The U.S., British, and French Russian forces cleared out from a lot of the haters, disarming them, knocking them out. On to the left, he ordered. Knock out the Sire's battalion. This Sire was one of many allies.
Give me that. You got the little one.
Pinkie Pie said, grabbing a long blue lightsaber and passing a slightly smaller one to Fluttershy. Jeremy couldn't believe what was happening. Was everyone willing to give up their free speech for Disney? The chaos continued to ensue. Jeremy caught sight of Admiral Producer coming towards him. It's been a long time, hasn't it, my fellow fan? Admiral asked him, the last 3 words coming out in an almost spiteful way. I thought you were... Jeremy began. Admiral finished for him. Gone? Dead? I am, dear hater. This is all a dream. He laughed at his own joke. Admiral, listen. Jeremy tried reasoning with Admiral, thinking he would reconsider his stance. I used to love Lucasfilm. I truly did. I used to love Disney. But seeing what they've become now, they've lost their magic, Admiral. Now it's all about rip-off sequels, cash grab remakes, etc. Don't you want to see Disney return to the way they used to be? The key thing is, Jeremy, the producer said, you missed the point. This is a free capitalist society. Corporations don't have to listen to its consumers if they don't want to. Yeah, they should, certainly, but they don't answer to anyone in particular. They should just accept Disney for what they are now. Jeremy shook his head. Never. I will never submit to Disney. Never. You'll never win, Admiral. Admiral shook his head. I am so disappointed in you, Jeremy. Pulled out a gun and shot Jeremy in the chest. The last thing Jeremy saw before slipping from consciousness was Josiah seeing his best friend fall and ordering a retreat.
Chapter 19, Timeline 1. The Battle of Maple Street / Aftermath, with quotes. The night after Josiah ordered the haters to retreat, the now combined Allied forces stayed at the war-torn stadium for the night to figure out their next course of action. Everyone had realized now what this war had come to. The war had turned from an unfriendly competition to a real war. Luckily, not all was bad, for the Allies had captured a hater. It was Ray Riley, who told them after some serious torture that Jeremy was now residing in 10 Maple Street, Admiral Producer's former home. This made Admiral furious, and he appealed to the Allied War Council about storming Maple Street just as the Soviets stormed Berlin in World War II. The Russians were all for this idea, stating that on the dawn of the fourth day, they would raise the flag of Disney over Maple Street on the roof of the house. The Allied War Council voted, and the outcome was a vote of 500 to 5. It was decided that the Allies would storm Maple Street, much to Admiral's pleasure. He vowed to retake his former home. Silverstein, still against the war, tried to tell Admiral Producer that this was a bad idea. But when Admiral told her the decision had been made and that she shouldn't interfere, her obedient side kicked in. She said nothing else, walking away. The next day, the long march to Threadwood Point began. Hawk, bumped up to the rank of commander, led the newly formed United Army of Nations and Fans, while Lee Everett led the corporate Allied powers. The United Army would attack Maple Street head-on with tanks and weaponry, while the corporate Allied powers would raid houses around the neighborhood and sometimes deliver an aerial bombardment. It took about 4 days, but the armies finally got there, marching with their weapons amidst all the cars, decimating any car or truck that got in their way. The Russians stormed into Maple Street through the gate with their tanks and soldiers, while Disney and Hasbro rode in military helicopters and military fighter planes. It was about 8 a.m. when the bombardment began. Jeremy was abruptly awoken by a panicking Mike Morgan, who told him that the Russians, Americans, French, and British forces were storming the neighborhood, while Disney and Hasbro bombed the local property. Jeremy was horrified. He suspected Admiral Producer wanted his house back. He would not let Admiral win. He ordered some of his forces to attack the United Army. The desperate haters agreed, going outside and engaging Russian tanks. Jeremy was willing to die for the rights of the fans, but he would not go down without a fight, that was for sure. For most of the first battle, he stayed in Admiral's old downstairs bedroom, watching the Battle of Maple Street unfold. The American army attacked Fat Simon squad, while the French dealt with assassinations in between. Several British soldiers threw tea at Mike Morgan, and he collapsed to the floor, broken glass and blood all over him. The second bomb hit, blowing the top of a house across the street. J.J. Abrams quickly apprehended the family that rushed out of the house. Just as things seemed lost for the haters, drunk 3PO's battalion came storming out of the 10 Maple Street home and opened fire on the French troops, who could not defend in time. The United Army was driven back, and Hawk ordered a retreat. The Allies and the United Army evacuated the area by sundown. Jeremy thought that he and his fellow haters had won, but that morning the next day, the United Army and the corporate Allied powers were back. Many homes around the cul-de-sac had either fallen into rubble, families trapped inside them, or badly damaged. U.S. troops evacuated the children of those houses, leaving the guardians or parents inside. Sometimes the British soldiers got the parents out, but Admiral insisted on leaving parents inside, as they wouldn't be able to interfere with the pastoral education he'd give the kids. Many of the children fought back, with one little girl begging Admiral to let her see her mommy one last time. Admiral, assuming a cold-hearted persona, had refused, giving the kind child to the Russian soldiers to put in their tank. Jeremy witnessed all this go on and was horrified again. So many families were being put in danger because of him. It made him question whether persisting was worth it, but he knew that if he surrendered, the other haters would tear him apart. Or if they didn't, the Allies would capture him and torture him until he surrendered his free speech. But as he watched many homes burn down in flames, completely decimated, Little children sick and squirming as the Allied forces plucked them from their parents. It made him sick. On the third day of the battle, he knew the war was lost. Many dead bodies littered the ground outside, and so many houses burned down to rubble or damaged severely. He called together all the remaining haters and told them that they would be surrendered to the Allied forces at dawn tomorrow. The haters objected. Many of them wanted to continue the war. They threatened Jeremy that if he surrendered, they would oust him from U2. Jeremy didn't want that to happen. He continued the war effort, sending more troops to combat the Allies. On the fifth day, the Bronies attacked. Hasbro H, a Disney fanatic, led a squad of Bronies to take over the backyard. The Joker tried to hold them off, but Heinous forces were quickly overwhelmed by the sheer number of Bronies. The backyard was soon declared under corporate Allied occupation. The haters were now not allowed to go out there. Jeremy knew he was fighting a losing war now, but he couldn't stop the war because the other haters had threatened him. On the seventh day, the neighborhood past the Blue House was bombarded by the corporate Allies. On the ninth day, the Russians began to advance, led by Admiral Producer. The number of surviving haters had begun to dwindle with all the casualties. When Chase saw the hopeless situation, committed suicide in his room by drinking toxic poison. Jeremy looked helplessly outside. It was too late. He knew his time had come when American troops began shelling the windows of the family room, killing many haters in that area. He had only seconds to decide what to do before the United Army stormed the house and apprehended him. Briefly, he remembered learning about World War II in school when he was younger, how Adolf Hitler had committed suicide rather than surrender to the Allies. He wouldn't be so cowardly. He would go and stand trial in the courts. He had no choice anyway. The war was lost. He saw the flapping of wings, and saw a white Pegasus in the air when the Pinocchio squad was carrying the flag of Disney and flying up to the roof. The other haters had probably surrendered already, he figured. When none of the haters were looking, he snuck out of the bedroom, opened the garage, which was already being damaged, and went outside onto the driveway. He missed all the firing and shelling from the United Army and aerial bombardment from the corporate Allied powers. He gestured his hands to form the crescent moon sign of the Old Republic/Rebel Alliance, New Republic/Resistance, a last gesture of respect to the fans, whose opinions would be silenced in a matter of days after the battle. It was also a gesture of peace. He shouted, "Allied powers!" Admiral Producer pointed his gun at Jeremy, but Magpie Pony stopped him with her hoof, telling him to hold his fire. Bombing and shelling momentarily stopped, with everyone looking at him. "I am tired. My heart is sick and sad, and where the sun now stands, I will fight no more forever," Jeremy said, quoting Chief Joseph. He bowed down and surrendered. The assembled crowd waited, thinking this was a trick, that Jeremy would order a last-minute surprise attack at any moment. When he didn't, the British officers came up and placed him in handcuffs. The American and French riding him as he was loaded up into a military helicopter, along with other haters either the United Army or the corporate Allied powers. Hearing of Jeremy's surrender, the remaining 25 internet powers and Flash haters were furious. Josiah and Mike Morgan both competed for the title of leader. In the end, Mike Morgan won because of his more aggressive stance that the haters liked. But it would not last. Already 2 ponies were hoisting the Disney flag over the wrecked Maple Street neighborhood, just as Mike Morgan went up to the roof and shot down those 2 ponies with his gun. But as the 2 Pegasi were falling, one of them took the bullet from her chest, flung it up towards Mike Morgan, who didn't have time to dodge before it struck him right in the heart. He looked at the heavens for 1 quick second before he tumbled and fell off the slowly crumbling roof towards his impending death. Now there were only 6 haters left, but the rest had either committed suicide, got killed in battle, or were captured. "The war is over for us," announced Jordan Winfield to the other 5 haters. "Let us not waste our lives and our time on a war that can't be won. Admiral Producer has defeated us. We have lost." The other haters nodded in silent acknowledgement. They were afraid to go outside to face their enemies, so they decided to announce the surrender from inside. Jordan Winfield went towards the window of the backyard where several U.S. soldiers were standing guarded with 4 trenches in a neighboring cul-de-sac. Kids looked scared out of their mind. Their hands were tied together in front of them. 3 girls, 1 boy. Jordan heard the girl to the far left say, "Please, mister, I want to see my mommy one last time, please." The officers laughed at her begging. The boy on the right chose to make a break for it. When he saw Jordan looking outside, he tried to stand up and go towards the wrecked screen door, but the officer shot him with the gun. "No, Billy!" The other girl cried, struggling to get her hands free, but stopped when the officer next to the first officer aimed his gun at her, forcing her to sit still. "Officers!" Jordan Field called out to them, leaning against the window door, only to find that it was flimsy now and fell over the backyard ground, scaring the 3 children. The officers turned towards him and he said, "Torture these children no more. You got what you wanted. Let them go. Surrender." The officers looked at each other for one moment before 3 of them ordered the kids to stand up. "Thank you," the first girl said. While the officers collected their extra weapons, the 3 children introduced themselves: Emma, the first girl; Alice, the second girl; and Stella, third girl. "Don't torture us, though," said Stella worriedly. "Our parents were all critics of The Last Jedi, so the mean helicopter people bombed our houses and plucked us from our families." Jordan came out onto the backyard, something the corporate allies had declared forbidden for haters to do after occupation. He laid a comforting hand on Stella's shoulder. They were all only about 7 years old, it seemed like. No child should be held responsible for what their parents did. "I hope they don't," Jordan said. Emma, trembling, said, "These soldiers said you were the bad guys, but you're not the bad guys, are you? They are." Jordan didn't know how to respond. Could he conclude with absolute certainty that he and the other haters weren't the bad guys? He couldn't, actually. After all, they had kidnapped Clementine, the daughter of one of the most influential people at Hasbro, destroyed an entire world with just a simple plug removal without a second thought. Not to mention, they held the entire crowd hostage. Altogether, they did some really terrible stuff. The sound of bombing took Jordan from his thoughts. The officers were coming back. He knew that telling the truth would save these apprehended children any trouble with the captors, but what was the truth exactly? He decided to just say something. No, we aren't the bad guys. The allies are. That was even the feminist nonsense. He realized that the children, being only 7-year-olds, didn't exactly know the whole complexity behind feminism, social justice warriors, etc. "What's that mean?" Alice asked, trying to word out. She sighed. "Sorry, I can't." It looked like she was about to cry. The officers came back, wasting no time in checking the children's legs, or sending them to walk like prisoners in slow steps outside. Jordan watched them go, worrying about them. Then he saw Stella turn back and offer him a brief, encouraging smile. She's brave for her age, Jordan thought. These children had hope. They would one day bring Disney down, he was sure of it. He saw the dead body of the little boy on the floor and sighed. One of the many casualties this war had brought. And that would be the man of official surrender. He went back inside and told his fellow critics and haters to brace for the worst. On July 4th, 2030, just 12 months after the war began and competition formed, the Internet powers formally and informally surrendered to the United Army and the corporate allied powers. At dawn that morning, pedestrians walked by the ruined Maple Street neighborhood, noticing the tanks and military aircraft parked by the house. A boy about 15 years old pointed at the banner flying from the roof. They looked. It was a red, yellow, and light blue flag with the face of Mickey Mouse on its center. "Battle Berlin reenactment, is this?" the husband asked his wife. "I think it's much more than that," replied the wife. "Must have been a war or something here." "Can we take the flag home, Mom?" asked the boy. "I love Disney." Better ask what military personnel is guarding the house first," said the husband/father. "I'll go check." The family found out that there was a battle here, that Silverstream and Ocellus had raised the flag of Disney over Maple Street, effectively resulting in the surrender of the enemy forces and a ceasefire. And the father dismissed this as a simple war game played in the neighborhood, but the mother and son believe otherwise. This had to do with the competition 12 months earlier. They were sure of it. The son, named Joseph, asked if he could tour the battlefield neighborhood, as his family had never seen an actual battleground before. But the French officers they were speaking to refused and told them to leave. They did, and Joseph can help but wonder what battle took place and ended this morning. History was always on his mind. It was his favorite subject in school. Therefore, he concluded, he needed to do more research on this field.
It happened the following day at Southwest Elementary School, at the producer's choice. The haters were told they could bring one representative to the meeting to try and negotiate terms despite their unconditional surrender the previous day. They chose Jordan Rainfield. The leaders of the Allied countries were there: President Ackerman, Vladimir Putin, Emmanuel Macron, and Boris Johnson. 4 representatives from Admiral Producer's old school, Kentfield High School, were also there, many of his classmates growing up. Also there was Queen Novo, Princess Twilight, Princess Luna, and King Thorax, coming into the room, followed by Admiral Producer himself. Next to last to show up were Lee Everett, Hawk, Silverstream, Ocellus, Ryan Johnson, and Clementine. Finally, Cool and Holly came in. Altogether, the meeting table was full. Good thing it was a huge and long table. "Is that all?" asked Ackerman. "Looks like it," said Twilight. The negotiations of the treaty began, with Cool telling Jordan as usual, "So you guys lost last time. Now it's time for cake at stake. Whoever gets the most votes will leave the show. Let's see the votes." "Well," Lee said, "there is not a punishment that would even nearly be suitable for what you guys did." Jordan sighed. "I want one more representative." Admiral Producer laughed. "No way. You're just gonna try and outvote us so you can try and get off scot-free." Jordan looked for anyone to contradict Admiral. No one did. He was alone, no one backing him. "That's not what I meant. You know, said Amanda, one of Admiral's old friends in school. "I believe that Jordan Rainfield and his haters deserve more than just having their opinions suppressed. They're all criminals. What do you say about sentencing them all to death?" Jordan was horrified. "No." Admiral frowned sinisterly. "Great idea, Amanda. All in favor of pronouncing the death penalty on the haters, please raise your hands. Or hooves, or claws, or paws, I don't know. Just raise whatever." Everyone at the table did, except for Thorax, Princess Twilight, Silverstream, Ocellus, Kate, another classmate, and Clementine. "What makes you guys so hesitant?" President Ackerman asked. "I prefer a peaceful solution," Ocellus said. "Guys, I know the haters are unquestionably and undeniably the bad guys, but they've already lost the war. What more punishment do they need?" "Did you forget," Queen Novo said, "that the haters are responsible for the destruction of our planet?" Ocellus shook her head. "I didn't forget, but they've all suffered enough." "So what you're saying is," said Putin, "we should ignore whatever else they've done just because they've lost the war and that's enough punishment?" "You better not becoming one of those haters after swearing allegiance to the crown of the mouth, Ocellus," Ryan Johnson said. "There's such thing as normal criticism. There's such thing as overblown hate." Ocellus did nothing else. She felt Silverstream put her claw around her shoulder in sympathy. "What would the haters want?" Lee cut in. All eyes turned to him, and he shrugged. There's only one of him and hundreds of us. I think it's fair to let Jordan Rainfield speak, just so he can embarrass himself of being outvoted." Admiral Producer smiled deeply again. "Well then, let's hear these traitors' conditions by all means. Take it away, hater." Jordan took a deep breath. "I know we did some horrible things, and I believe we shouldn't go unpunished, but here are my conditions for our surrender. First, I want Jeremy to have a fair trial and be released back into society after serving his sentence. Second, we want to maintain our American citizenship and our rights. Third, we want to be allowed to criticize as long as it doesn't get blown out of proportion. Finally, fourth, we want to set precedent that Disney cannot make films without the consent of the fans. Disney is to listen to what fans want and respect their wishes." The meeting participants debated for what seemed to Jordan to be about 4 hours, although only 15 minutes of deliberation had passed after they announced their verdict. Admiral Producer once again had that sinister grin, and that indicated the verdict would be in SJW favor. "The attendees have decided that you haters will not have the demands you described granted. Rather, Hawk has come up with his own, far better terms. Hawk, would you like to make your statement?" Hawk nodded and said, "The first thing we agreed on is that Disney and Hasbro will buy the federal government for a total of $44 billion. I think that arrangement will work. That means Disney and Hasbro will rule America with Admiral Producer as leader of the New Fanatics Disney Supporters Party, or the NFAC Party. Essentially, America will become a totalitarian regime, with France, Britain, and Russia as member states of the Union of Supporters Cinematic Corporate Republics, or the Corporate Union, a unitary one-party authoritarian state run by the NFAC Party, Disney, and Hasbro. Admiral Producer will also be head of state, the government, commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and secret police. He will have unchecked
military, executive, and legislative, and judicial authority over the country, ruling by consent of the supporters. The second thing we agreed on is that we will build sort of an internment camp / concentration camp as labor prison spanning most of Texas and territory. This is where we will place you haters. You can live your miserable, angry lives well away from civilization, under close surveillance by the secret police, working at a camp and behind bars at night, separated from one another. Your families will be placed there as well if they cannot prove themselves loyal fans. If you ever want to see your families again, you better hope they fail the allegiance test. The third thing we agreed on is that Disneyism will become the official religion of the state. Basically, Disneyism is this idea in which Mickey Mouse created the universe and all of its inhabitants. Anyone who does not regularly praise or pray to Mickey Mouse will be prosecuted. The fourth thing we agreed on is we will split up different aspects of the state among the Allied studios and or studios under protection by the Allied powers. Paramount and Sony will control the economy, acting on the will of the government. DC and DreamWorks will control the citizens' private lives, mandating that 2 guards will be posted on each house and direct the citizens where to go when they go out. Freedom of expression and choice will effectively be eliminated. Illumination Entertainment will be in charge of schools and education, keeping young children and students in check with their studio staff patrolling the school. Nickelodeon and Netflix will control streaming service, entertainment, and news. All people will be required to return to their homes by curfew 6 o'clock p.m. or be prosecuted or executed, unless they are watching a Disney movie at a theater. This excludes government officials, high-ranking citizens, nobility, and authorities / police, as they will be above the law. Well, the curfew law, anyway. Anyway, those are the 4 terms we decided on. Any objections? Jordan Rangel couldn't believe it. Freedom was officially gone. Surely no one agreed to this madness. He waited for someone to call Hawk out. No one did. Even Silverstream, who had experienced tyranny and totalitarianism as a slave, did not object. The Treaty of Kentfield was written and signed with Jordan Rangel having to sign as well. April 5th will be remembered by the haters and oppressed citizens as democracy's final day, or the last day of democracy. Chapter 20. Epilogue / Prologue to the sequel. On November 15, 2030, Disney and Hasbro's purchase of the United States federal government was completed. An Hasbro producer organized his ruling political party, in which he was elected president unanimously. Disney and Hasbro formally passed Hasbro producer's first decree that the de-democratization process for the removal of democracy from America, Britain, France, and Russia would begin. Admiral Producer would serve for life as dictator. After he would inevitably pass away, power would be left to the corporate Congress to elect a new leader. The only trace of democracy, Admiral left. Silverstream, Ozellus, June, MJ, Clementine, and Peter Parker oversaw the construction of the statue of Mickey Mouse at the White House, now called the New House of Mouse. It looks beautiful, doesn't it? June asked. MJ shrugged. By 3050, the only thing these citizens will know is what the government teaches them. It doesn't really matter. America will become a far more powerful nation under this dictatorship. You might even say that this authoritarianism here will be greater than that Oceana Super State in 1984. You read that book, Peter? Peter nodded. I have. Very good book. The magic of Disney has prevailed over the tyrannical hate. June said wistfully. I remember when Admiral Producer predicted that would happen years ago. Shame those toxic people like Geeks and Gamers doubted him. Now they're being sent to their labor camp. Look down there. Osiris looked down the hill and saw thousands of people in shackles, blindfolded, their arms cuffed behind their backs, marching in slow strides with guards all wearing Mickey Mouse hats beside them, keeping them in line. None made any move to resist the guards, accepting their fate. It looks like we're home, Osiris said. Here we have a chance to keep order here, whatever that means, guys, and whatever happens, we'll get through it together. Together we can conquer all. Silverstream smiled, her first genuine, joyful smile in years. Of course, and if anyone tries to resist, we'll crush them like flies. What a lovely sunset this is. They all looked and saw the sun setting in the horizon, creating a beautiful shimmering gold, red, pink, and purple colors that descended into the ground. The sun had set on free democracy. Now all that mattered was the well-being of the corporations and their fans. But peace would not last, as 6 years later, the Student Democratic Resistance would arise, led by 17-year-old Abigail Williams and her group of followers, set to topple the authoritarian regime. The answer is whether they'll succeed lies within the pages of the next installment of the series.
Stay tuned and find out how the government will respond to this new rebellion in the next chapter of this tale.